I'll call this Bang Bang.
Listen.
Seriously?
Oh, here we go.
Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough.
Get fucked. Okay.
Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough.
Listen, he's not my guy.
Fucking McDonough. Fucking McDonough.
But the thing is this, I'm a YouTube content creator. Trust me.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Let me get these cash apps because these are important.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Crazy Sean is history.
Welcome to the Weekend Live Show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Taunton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Wichita, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stands, leave your clothes, buddy, and
hey, you a funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aidan. I'm not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
I'm not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Boys, go baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Yo! Oh, shit, that's bright. God damn, hold on. All right, it's a little better. Man, what's that? Should I just turn it off? Hold on. I don't know. Then it disappears. Where'd it go? It's like it's like a ghost mic, which is kind of cool, I guess. But then the hat, like it's like why is the hat just white like that? What's this thing? Hold on. Timeout. This was all set up. Everything was fine 2 minutes ago. Timeout. Hold on. All right, let's see if that works. Dude, what the fuck? Why is my head now with the thing? Hold on, we're gonna mess around with this for 1 sec. Virtual background. Oh, I don't have my green screen light on. That'll do it. Okay. Go down like this, but then the hat's still gone. It's like it doesn't exist. Then there's this, which is like, oh fucking dude, why am I disappearing? What is going on right now? If you're new here, this happens like every episode, like at the beginning of every show. It's how they all start. And I can't even deal with like I'm distracted by myself looking at this. I can't do a show like this. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this in a little more. Maybe that's doing something funky. Is this not high enough? And then what about this one? All right. How about this? And I lost internet like a minute ago too. That's why I'm like a couple minutes later. I had to restart the router. Turn to a big thing. Now if I go like this, okay. Why does the hat? It's a new hat. I got a new hat. I want to rock the new hat. I got a new hat made for Christmas. Like, why does it not? It's not just a white hat. I don't understand this. I need a light guy or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm literally just a guy with a show, a bootleg YouTube show that kind of got a lot bigger than I ever thought it would be. I'm changing hats. I can't do. Let me go with the black hat. Hold on. How about this hat? All right, that's a little better. We'll go with that. What do you guys think? It's going to annoy me. All right. Put this down a little more. What the fuck happened now? This is a black hat. It's a black fucking hat. Dude. What the fuck just happened? Everything was fine 2 seconds ago. Everything. Oh, there it is. So if I go like this, it's okay. What the fuck? All right, virtual background. All right, that's a little better. That works. Okay. I can work with that. I think that's okay. All right, we're good. All right, guys. Welcome to the live show. We're starting a little late tonight. This happens sometimes because I have no clue what I'm doing at all. My name is Aidan Kearney. I'm just a former high school teacher who doesn't know the first thing about technology at all. Couldn't even figure out how to do YouTube stream a few years ago. Kind of grew quickly doing it myself. Don't have like a team or anything like that does, you'd think it's really actually a pretty bootleg operation over here. Doing it out of a house that I'm renting, turn up the volume. I feel like the volume's as good as it's going to get. Can you guys hear me all right? But anyway, I'm really good at journalism and I'm really good at like entertaining people and putting on a show and exposing corruption. I'm really good at all that. I'm not so good at the technological aspects of it. So anyway, also happy birthday to Jen Altman. I saw there in the comments. It's her 29th birthday today. So make sure you wish her a good one. And also thank you to all the people who sent me a happy birthday thing the other night. We're back. By the way, if you're new here, my name's Aidan Kearney. You can call me Clarence with Emerson. You can call me, Dr. Turtleboy, I actually prefer. You can call me. What's with the people saying the volume is messed up? The sound is bad. You can't hear me? All right, hold on. Testing. Yeah, now it's like not working. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? The mic is just, I can tell it's not working. All right, I got to switch mics now. Give me 1 second. Testing. Testing. You guys can't. I'm like yelling into this fucking thing. No sound. If it's my mixer. Did that fix it? Oh. Hold on. Now this one may work. Is this thing on? All right, good. We're good. We fixed it. Crisis averted. Throw that one over there. Take this. I need a drink. Now we need more creamer. Be right back. All right, I think we're good for real this time. It looks like the audio's okay, I think. And it looks like the video's okay. You know, I'm a little blurry up here. There's some shadows. I disappear when I do this. I have no fucking clue how any of this works. But anyway, guys, I gotta put this back on. Oh, there's like a million cords here now. Fuck my life. Oh, great. Awesome. The camera moved. Just what I need. Awesome. And I disappeared again. Fucking great. Awesome. I'm about to quit. This is fucking insane. What the fuck? Nope. All right. That's good enough. Show must go on. Anyway, we're good. Tonight's off to a great start, as you can see. But anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Just a reminder, smash that subscribe button for me. I am like trying to get, let's see, the new subscribers have like, it's like dying. Like we're not getting any new subscribers. I've been stuck at 101,800 something for like a week or so now. It's at 847 right now. I've been trying to get to 102,000 forever. There are thousands of people watching right now. I am goddamn positive 153 of you have not hit the subscribe button. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button right now. Hit it right now, and let's get this up. Let's go. Can we get this to 102,000 right now? This is goddamn ridiculous. 848. We just got one new one. These are better than the car lives. That's true. That's true. Now I can't, again, I have to adjust this. That's too much. That will have to do. Okay. Refresh it again. All right. 854. So there were 70 of you. Let's go. Let's keep that going. Can we get this to 102,000? That's what we need to get it to. 102,000. Let's do it. Anyway. Yeah, like if you guys back in the day, I used to do this in my car. I was JFK style, except much, much worse. And I had OBS, which was like a much worse streaming service. And it was just really bad. And I would just sit there. Sometimes I would do it. I would have my phone pointed at the computer, and you would just see my fingers on the keyboard typing shit in while I did it. So anyway, guys, yeah, welcome. All right, cool. What else was I going to say? Oh, so we're back. We took a week off there, obviously. Christmas, holidays, all that fun stuff. Shout out to Jen Altman. It's her birthday. Oh, yeah, I already said that. Like I said, I had mine a couple days ago. Thank you guys for all the lovely messages. I appreciate that. It's been a long year, and I am so glad we're past that. I don't like the holidays that much. It's a lot of pressure. And for me, especially, it was just like getting past the Christmas holiday and my birthday, especially, was a really big thing mentally, because it's just, last year, it was a very different Christmas from last year, and I no longer have to relive that. Everything's been more than a year from now, like the worst shit in my life. It's been more than a year since it happened, December 24th. I find out there's a bolo out for me, that there's a warrant for assault and battery, domestic, out of Medfield. Okay. And I immediately realized that what has happened, this liar has, made up this complete lie about assault and battery. And in order to send me to jail, because if she couldn't have me, no one could, one of those things. And so Christmas, I didn't get to watch my kids open their gifts on, I didn't get to go to church. I didn't do any of that stuff. And it was just very different this year because I got to do all that. And it was awesome. And I also got to go to the Celtics game. We lost, but it was still fun. I had a good time. Saw a lot of turtle riders there, a lot of great people, a lot of pictures. Always nice to see. And then, went on afterwards, had a lot of fun. Then it was my birthday, obviously, on the 26th. And I go bowling on my birthday. That's what I do. Ever since I was a kid, my aunt used to take us bowling. And we had so I took my kids bowling in Auburn, had a blast, killed it, crushed them both. And, even though they had bumpers, they did okay. And, just had a great time, had a great birthday. So, other than that, it's been stressful, and I'm really glad that I'm past all this. Like I said, it was the first Christmas and birthday I had without my mother. And I was thought about it, and it just made me more pissed that last year I didn't get to have that. Like, they stole that from me too. I missed. So it's like it was a reminder, like my last Christmas, my mom, they actually took from me. And like on my birthday, my mom would always have, no matter how old I was, it was like, there'd be a cake there and there would be candles and they would sing, and she would sing happy birthday to me. And, so that's what I was planning. I remember sitting in that jail cell. I turned myself into Medfield police around noon. Our plan that day was to just get into the courthouse quietly and get out on the 26th, and hopefully no cameras, no media, nothing. Right. And so the plan was to do, so my dad drove me in. I met up with Tim Bradle, but on the way, I got tipped off by some people that were like, Tully and the Medfield police are standing on the top of the stairs at Dedham District Court. Don't come here. They're going to arrest you. They're going to take you back. They want to do this. So I said, okay, well, I asked Bradle, what should I do? And we're prepping him. My PI almost got arrested that morning. Like, it was crazy. So he's like, well, just go turn yourself in to Medfield police. Go with Mark Chiappetta, the PI, and my dad. And went in there, and I'm like, all right, so I'm here. And the lady at the desk didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I have a warrant out for my arrest. I'm here to turn myself in. And so the deputy chief, I think his name is McGrath. I'm almost positive. Or am I messing this up? Yeah, I think it's Barry McGrath. Seemed like a nice guy. Him and Officer Plant, who took the fictitious report, they came out and, he put me in handcuffs, and then they brought me back. They actually have a nice police department there. And they brought me back there, and they processed me and all that stuff. And I'm just like sitting there knowing what's happening. And it's like, okay, around 2:00, they get me out of there. And, I jump in the back of the car with them, to get from Medfield to Dedham is not easy. Like it's like you got to go all through 109. You got to go through Walpole, Dover, and Westwood, the whole town of Westwood, the center of it, all of it. And I remember sitting there. It took so long to get there, and it was so uncomfortable. And then we finally, the deputy chief did say to me, he said that sorry to meet you under these circumstances, which seems to mean like he was friendly, you know. So finally get to the courthouse, and there's a crowd there waiting outside. Hold on, I'm seeing TV admin has jumped on board. I don't know. It's usually bad news when that happens. But anyway, TB admin, I apologize. So the media is all there waiting for me. And I yell something like, this is all a setup on their way in or something like that. And I thought with that tape that we had of her threatening to pack the kids in the car and drive them to my house so she can bleed out in the driveway. And that if she crashes along the way, it'll be my fault. This is something she regularly did, threaten to kill herself if I left, one of those things. And I'm like, with that tape, I'm like, they have to see the big picture here. Like, she's begging me to stay. I don't want to be there. All I want to do was leave. She wouldn't let me. This is not a domestic violence victim. Any judge is going to hear this and let you go. So they played it, and I thought I was golden. And I remember being downstairs and just praying over and over again, saying our fathers, like, please let me go home because I want to eat cake tonight. My mother, my dad was there. He's going to drive me home. We're going to go back to my mom's. I'll never be more grateful in my life for being able to eat cake with my mother. And then they revoked my bail. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? 90 days in jail? I don't go to jail. I don't know anything about jail. I've never been to jail before. And so that's how I spent it. And my first night there was just shock and horror. Bologna sandwich. I was running on like no sleep. I did not have my medication, just cold turkey on that. And the longest day, the worst day was the second day. The 27th was the worst day because that was like no pet. I didn't have a tablet yet. I didn't know where I was in the building. Like, I didn't know anything about the jail. I'm just in a cell by myself. I don't know anyone here. I have no one to talk to. I have no one to communicate with. And I have the longest time to go possible. I have 89 more days. That's what it was in my head. 89 more days. And I'm just sitting here. And all I could think about was that the worst people in the world were loving every second of this. We're celebrating, we're whatever, and I'm in here. So, and I slept all the time because when you take them off I take Adderall. It's a stimulant. And when they take it away from you cold turkey, you sleep a lot because Adderall you're so used to it. So you just sleep all the time. So I was just falling asleep all the time, taking naps. I never take naps. But eventually I got used to it and I made the best of it. But yeah, it was just, and so like, I'm like, to get past, and they're always talking about sending me back. So in order to get past that, like going through these days without going to jail was a big thing for me. So I did that and I feel better because of that. But yeah, it was just a reminder of it all, and not being without my mom. It's like literally, it's like I was just reminded that they took it from me. I'm really pissed about that. I'm really pissed about that because you don't get that back. And yeah, but anyway, that's that. All right, cool. If anybody wants to have their messages read out loud to the class tonight, you can click at the top for something called Turtle Chat. And when you do that, you can give whatever or pay whatever amount of money you want. And you get to write a message. All right. And I will get that message on the Turtle Chat and I will read that message out loud to the class. Let me find it right now. Safari. Oh, there it is. All right. Let me see if and also my Cash App is $ Uncle Turtleboy. Oh, intermittent static. Thanks for the heads up. My phone's over here. Okay. Thanks. All right. Jessa sends $10 and goes, happy belated birthday, Unc. Thank you. And Meredith for taking a selfie with me at the Celtics. It's obvious how in love you two are. Wishing you both a 2025 full of love and happiness. Well, thank you very much. Did we meet you, Jessa? Which one were you? I think I remember you. Wait, there was a couple. There was a Daphne. I met a Daphne. That was an original name. There's a few people we took pictures with, but pleasure to meet you. Sorry we couldn't win, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas. So thank you very much for that. Semelina sends $20 and says, I have missed shows. It is nice to catch up once again. Keep up the good work. Shout out to Gaffney, you silly cuck clown. Ooh, roasted. Thanks, Emma. 3 balls deep sends $25 and goes, Jaylen Brown is the man, is the fucking man. He wasn't the other night. Happy birthday, Unc. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. Thank you very much. Brittany sends $8 and says, hello, I am happy you had a great Christmas with your family. Anyway, the defense of the next trial needs to get weather records to emphasize how little snow is on the ground. The jury needs to know that John was not covered in snow when Lucky drove by. Also, why does Marie Russell need to return again? What else are they supposed to talk about? Well, Hank wants to voir dire here some more about why she's not qualified to give testimony in this trial, and he's very rude to her. And so that second part of the hearing now is on January 7th. And I don't know how long that's going to take, but I have court that day myself across the street with the fake victim. The restraining order renewal hearing happens to be at the exact same time. So obviously none of you guys will probably be paying attention to that or going to that. You're welcome to, if you'd like. Obviously the Karen Reed case is a lot bigger news. But for me personally, it's like, not that order represents is how she hangs on to me, is how she, she'll never let me go as long as that order is in place, because being a victim is the only thing she can do. So it's like, it's in that order to me represents her ability to get me jammed up for something. Like she can continue to follow me around and, so whatever. So I'll be there on that date. So yeah, but Marie Russell's going to kill it. She'll be great. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much. Elizabeth sends $10, goes, happy birthday, Jen Altman. Your posts crack me up. You need your own show. Oh, don't encourage her. Norfolk County neighbor, Elizabeth Stevens. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Thomas, Autonomous Anonymous, sends $5 and says, correction. JM's call to Kerry were PM, not AM. I want logs, all of them. It's not in the logs. Okay. Thomas, you sent 3 for $5. Okay. You can send, I don't like that. It's the Turtleboy show, not the Thomas show. Send 1, please. And just, if you don't want to send more than 5, you don't have to, but sending 3 different turtle chats for the minimum amount is kind of like you kind of try to take over the show. I'm not fond of that, but I'll read this for this one last time anyway. All right. She also says, you reported Julie told him Jennifer. Again, you're not sending him in order either. So I'm just going to read your first one, Thomas. So new rule. You got 1 turtle chat at a time. You don't get to send 3 turtle chats in a row, especially for $5. You do it for $100. I'm going to forgive you for that one. But $5, I am not doing this shit. You got it, because now they're not in order and shit. So I'm going to read the first one. So the first one says, Hank is trying to grasp at failed straws from previous trials. Why can't the defense motion for McCastle's phone records, or did they get them from the DOJ, but only JM seems to be published? Okay. And then he wrote, to be continued. No, there will be no more to be continued. Just get it all out in 1 turtle chat. That's it. Okay. Next. Danielle sends $25. Nope, this is from the other day, so I'm not reading that one. Okay, cool. That was from the 23rd. All right, do we have any more turtle chats? Colleen sends $10 and has no comment. Thank you, Colleen. Ann sends 25 and goes, happy belated birthday. Sorry I missed it. I hope you had a Merry Christmas and birthday. Much love. Thank you, Ann. I really appreciate that. And Jeremy E says, what are your thoughts on the Worcester DOJ report? I talked about that on my last show. I don't know if it was Turtle Club or my show. But I think it's bullshit. I read the whole thing over. It's like a 47-page report about how the Worcester police are allegedly corrupt or something like that and problematic. I read the whole thing over, and the headline says like Worcester police have sex with hookers and force them to give sex for money and all the stuff. So I'm reading it over. I'm like, well, this sounds interesting. And nowhere in the report does it list the name of a single cop. Not one. Not one Worcester police officer is named by name in this report. None of them. Nowhere does it list the name of any of these hookers. And all the hookers say that, oh, this cop made me give him a blowjob for $40, and this one did that and used me. And it's like nobody was ever charged, nothing. Okay. And I'm like reading this all over, and I'm like, where is the meat here to this? And it had a whole thing about the Black Lives Matter protesters, about how police were brutal to them. I don't know if you guys remember that in Worcester. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail at the police during those riots, and they destroyed a police car. Yeah. Fuck them. I don't care if they were hurt during. I don't give a fuck. Don't riot in the streets. I have no sympathy for them whatsoever at all. So I'm reading this over, and I'm like, this is what Josh Levy is wasting his time with, right? There better be fucking indictments on the McAlberts. You're feeding me this bullshit, and and the McAlberts are walking free. Oh no, no, fuck this. I'm losing faith in Josh Levy. Let's just put it that way. It's nice that they did this little investigation. I heard he's a straight arrow, but you got to do something, dude. You got to shit or get off the pot. Trump's the new president now, and if you can't get shit done, maybe he can appoint someone who will. That's all I got to say with that. But all right, I think we got a couple cash apps too. Let's see what we got here. Up to 872 subscribers now. So we're getting close. We're only 128 away from 102,000. Keep smashing that subscribe button. All right, cash apps. We have here Jennifer. The fuck? Okay. No, was it Jennifer? Nikki sends $10 and says, shout out to Tom and my mods. Great party. Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Mama She sends $50. Thank you, Mama She, and says, happy belated birthday and happy new year, Dr. Daddy. Well, I appreciate that. Oh yeah, New Year's. So New Year's Eve this year is on a Tuesday. So that's no bueno. And then Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, play New Year's Day night against Georgia. We're going to kick their ass. It's going to be great. Go Irish. But so I can't do a show on either of those nights. Maybe Monday. Maybe we can do a show Monday. I don't know. Maybe we can figure it out, but it's not going to be either of those nights. I'll tell you that much. So thank you very much, Mama She. Fat McAlbert sends $10 and goes, a moment of silence for the Rutland firefighter and his family. Horrible story. Horrible story. Yeah. Rutland firefighter by the name of Patrick Sullivan. Just, I couldn't even read it. I mean, I read it, but I can't even on Christmas though. His wife, was like hours before she was supposed to have a C-section. She got very sick and died. And the babies, she got very sick, and the babies were born, and then they were all taken off of life support on I think the day after Christmas. Like, just horrible. Like, so that's fucking awful. So that guy will never be the same. And just a freak thing, just horrible. So thank you very much for that. Brian sends $5 and says, did you and Meredith give From another try? She's watched it. She tried to get me to watch it, and I'm like, no, this is freaky. I don't like freaky. I don't like freaky. So I started watching Homeland. I never watched Homeland, and I can't believe it's taken me so long to watch Homeland. It's fucking awesome. So I love it. Brian also sends $5 and says, Merry Christmas, buddy. Hope it was amazing. Free Turtleboy and Karen Reed. Well, thank you very much, sir. Steph sends $10 and goes, happy birthday, Alan. Okay. Happy birthday, Alan, whoever you are. Thank you. And do we have any more turtle chats? Couple here. Jennifer sends $25 and goes, I love you, doctor. It breaks my heart that these dirtbags took your last Christmas and birthday with your mother. Karma's a bitch. I'm praying that they get they're real soon. Do you know where Paul Cristoforo has been? I don't. Paul has taken a break, and honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Paul Cristoforo has done amazing work organizing all of these protests outside of court and standouts. He's been awesome. And then the Jennifer O'Donnell and basically decided to mean girl him. And he's going through a divorce. She contacted his fucking wife and just caused chaos in his life. And he's taking a break because of that. So we have that the Paul, who was a major contributor to Free Count Read and did a lot for the movement, isn't doing it anymore because Jennifer O'Donnell decided to turn into a psychopath. So once again, I just want to remind anyone supporting that human garbage pail, Jennifer O'Donnell, because that's what she is. She's a fucking a person pretending to have mental health issues because she can't control her own fucking behavior. And she sucks at life. And I fucking hate her. Like, I hate her just as much as the McAlberts. I never want to see her again. She's fucking dead to me. And go fuck yourself if you're watching, Jen. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on that. Next up. Oh, and by the way, I just want to be like, it should be clear to Eric Deej or whatever his name is, or any of these people messaging me crying about attacking women. You can go fuck yourselves too. Seriously. Fuck off. Never liked you. Get the fuck out of here. So bye. Anyway, next up. Let's see. Did we get that one? Yeah. All right, cool. Or was that? Did we read Samantha's about how happy belated and simply thank you? These frauds and disgraceful humans, quote unquote, needed to be outed for their corrupt and disgusting behavior. I agree, Samantha. Lacey sends $10 and says, happy birthday and thank you for everything you do. I thought about your mom and how proud of you I know she is, especially seeing the true love between you and Meredith. And unlike the fake relationship Grant thinks he has with Lindsay. P.S. Happy fucking birthday to the incredible Jen Altman. Well, thank you very much for that, Lacey. David sends $10 and goes, greeting from the best co-host ever across the pond. Now celebrating new celebrity sandwich rag team death match. Megabeth and Wank Brennan versus Julie Bagel and Adam Lally. All the best for 2025, Druid. Well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that very much. And I got another one here from Higgins, mail order bride, Mary fuck kill, Auntie Bev, Jen O'Donnell, Jill Albert. Well, I don't think there is a Jill Albert. And I don't really know. I'm not going to fuck any of them. Thank you very much. Joel sends 25 and says, happy birthday, Turtleboy and Jen Altman. Grateful you're free, Turtleboy. Me too. So anyway, guys, feel free to, if anyone else wants their message read, you can click at the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. All right, cool. All right. So let's just jump right into it finally, shall we? All right. Give me 1 sec to pull this up. Oh yeah, and just a reminder, stuff to know. I have like a secretary now. Auntie Deb, the Young Jerks, LTL Glairer have raised lots of money for Karen in my legal defense fund the last few days. And I want to thank them for that. I really appreciate that. Mike brought a $150 cameo. I did a bunch of the cameos. I sent like 20 Christmas cameos, like in the 48 hours leading up to Christmas. But they've done an awesome job donating. So I really appreciate that because every penny counts. Luckily, no more Krupp. Krupp has been moved to Judge Krupp has been moved to Suffolk Superior Court. And that guy sucks. And a lot of people are talking about this latest ruling of Judge Krupp to, we have to give back the cell phone to the fake victim. We can still use evidence that we found in there as long as we've stated what evidence we're going to use. And there's a lot of it, obviously, that we plan on using. But we just have to give the phone back and I guess pretend that we didn't see all that. And we didn't write the better roll letters in which we put everything out there, all the really salacious shit in there. And by the way, like, so they gave us her phone in like mid-April, like April 24th. And before I even announced it, it's like there was no protective order whatsoever. Like, I definitely shared that thing. I don't even remember who, but like, because there was nothing telling us we couldn't. Like, I thought if you don't want us sharing and distributing information, then don't give it to us. They just gave us all this information and we just distributed it and wrote better letters based on it. And it showed that we were literally excited. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, boomer, you want the phone back? I guess. Yeah, sure. Have the phone back. It sounds like the whole thing is just a glorified gag order. It's like an end around with a gag order because we can use all the information in the phones. I just can't like talk about it on the show, even though I've talked about it like hundreds of times and anyone can just go back and watch any of those. So starting now, Judge Krupp in his infinite wisdom has made it so that I am not to discuss the contents of that phone. Not a problem. We'll do it in court filings, whatever. So we could talk about other things on the show. I have no desire to keep talking about this person really wants the spotlight anyway. So yeah, I mean, whatever. I saw like Suzanne was saying that she had it and she's like, Judge Krupp doesn't tell me what to do. And I can't. It's like, okay, it's whatever. I will gladly give my copy back. It's a PDF. So, which is a file which people can share. But you can have the physical zip drive back and I will delete all of them from my computer. Not a problem. Not a problem. But anyway, I exactly like his over the whole internet. So now Krupp is in charge of the whole internet. So I guess he's going to try to, I don't know if the order's just on me. So I don't fucking know. It's just boomerism. Like that's what's happening here right now. So anyway, let's get back to this. All right. What else do we have here? The Calling All Beings is doing a fundraiser for me and Karen tonight. Is that after the show? Okay. So thank you very much. Will from the Glare is doing a 12-hour New Year's Eve live stream for mine and Karen Reed's Legal Defense Fund. That is awesome. That is like during New Year's itself. During New Year's, I'm actually going out. We're going out in Southie. A bunch of us will be there. We have like a nice little crew going for dinner. So that's going to be lovely. And maybe we'll live stream some of that. We'll see. And also shout out. I've just had to remind, I have like a person who reminds me all this shit because I always forget all the people I have to thank. When I was in jail, a lot of people really helped out as far as keeping the website going. I remember Brian, Will, and Rita did a live stream after the restraining order hearing because it wasn't like live streamed. So witnesses had to say what they saw. And I remember that was really good. And Brian jumped on and did lives for weeks while raising money for my legal defense fund. So I really appreciate that going. Thanks to everybody who helped the content going on the website and on YouTube. You guys know who you are. Everyone who sent me positive message in jail, all that stuff, donated to my canteen fund, everything. I appreciate that. So basically don't forget to subscribe to all these people because they're great. We got a list of them here, right? And I know I'm going to forget some. The Glarer, obviously, Brian LTL, right? The Young Jerks, Microdots, which is awesome. Melanie Little, of course, Tom and Boston Mike, and Scott, I guess, kind of is a co-producer on that now too. Auntie Deb's got a channel, Brandy Churchwell, all of the Aussies, Aussie Insider, and Miss Shorty, and of course the LV Cops, Calling All Beings, JFK, of course, Resistance to Silence, Nurse Kim, obviously, Auntie Deb. I feel like there's always people I miss with this shit. So anyway, appreciate that to all you guys, all the boots on the ground, Erica, Paul, Rita, Dina, of course, Kurt, all of you fine people. You're great. Yeah. Okay. All right, cool. So I got a couple, I got a couple things here, right? This was, do you guys remember my 25th? Oh, Mazza Media. How can I forget? And Joe Flipahead. Sorry, I'm reading off a list here. My producer made a list, and she's great. So there's always somebody I fucking miss. How could I forget Mazza Media? He's great. And Joe Flipperhead. I was watching Joe Flipperhead at the gym today, right? When I exercise, I like to watch YouTube videos and catch up on it. And this new guy too, Brother Counsel. He's really smart too. So check him out. Olivia Lambo. She's more of a Twitter person. She's great as well, but obviously her too. But anyway, so we got a couple things here. So on my 25th day in jail, I called up my friend Will, the Glare, and little did I know that he was live. He was doing a live stream with Olivia Lambo. And so this was aired on there. And I was all worried the next day that I'm like, am I going to lose my phone privileges? A couple days later, they filed a motion to take my phone away. I'm like, if they took my phone away, that would have been like cruel and unusual punishment. I don't know what the fuck I would have done, you know? But let me share this. So this was the call, the jail call.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know why it's sideways.
This is a free call from an incarcerated individual at York County Correctional Center. This call is not private.
An incarcerated individual.
If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
Hello.
Yo.
What's up, buddy?
It's great to hear your voice, man. How you doing?
Okay, are you live right now?
Yeah, we're live right now. So
that's what I sounded like.
Awesome. I just want to say hello to everybody. I appreciate you guys all so much. Daddy coming home soon, I promise.
Right on. And I'm still not calling you fucking daddy, buddy. So no, man, it's great to hear from you, man. I'm sorry I missed your call before. But I got to tell you, I really everybody here is pulling for you. I'm pulling for you. And it's really great to hear you. How's everything going in there besides the obvious of, but tell us.
Let me tell you something. The prisoners fucking love me. I don't know mad or anything, but it's kind of like I'm like a legend with the prisoners. Like, so he's like isolated. But like I call it recess. I go to recess and by myself, and I go to the place where like all the cops and prisoners are. Like, so it's like 6 kids down there that got in a fight or something. And I was walking in today, and they're like, "Yo, Turtleboy, yo, this is the TV." Yo. And I was like, one kid was a little mad at me because I wrote about his mom apparently, but I'm like, oh no, that was somebody else.
That kid's name was Julian Hammond Desir. If you search his name, he was just convicted of murdering somebody in at the Braintree Mall. And it's just wild. Like I was in there with like straight up murderers, like and Turtleboy. Like that's how I was doing my rec time doing my push-ups in the yard with like all these straight up gangbanging murderers. And they all loved me. They all were like, yo, Turtleboy, when I walked in there, every prisoner. And I didn't interact with that many prisoners in there because they kept me so isolated. So they would bring me to this area at night for my recess. I would do recess there at night, rec as they call it. I call it recess. And I would go in there and I would do my push-ups and my step-ups and got in pretty good shape in jail. But there would always be, some prisoners in there who got in a fight in one of the housing units and were sent down there. And like one day, like 5 or 6 black kids all fought each other. Right. And I'm like, wait, but they were all friends. Like they just talk all day in jail. Like they just in their cells. Yeah. Talking shit, having a great time. Then I walked in there and it's like the highlight of the fucking day. Turtleboy, yo, what up? And then one kid's like, yo, you wrote about my mom. That was Julian Hammond Desir. He murdered somebody. So there's that.
They all like being involved. Like, oh, Turtleboy, what's up? And like one kid was like, yo, Turtleboy, you wrote about some girl who pissed in the elevator in high school.
Oh, I remember that.
I don't remember that, but I believe you. That's pretty cool. And you know what I see every day too? I see Brian Walsh every fucking day.
What?
No way.
It's true.
I see him every fucking day. Me and him just went to the barber shop. There's a prisoner up there, and we both got our haircuts. I went first, and then to the barber too. He's a big black dude. And he's like,
oh, remember I had the barber on the show, LC?
I hear it the other day, and there's all these people that they all hold me signs for free Kearney and free Turtleboy. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. He's like, what? That's you. I couldn't believe it.
What?
Yeah,
dude, you need to interview that guy. Like, you could
I tried.
You could, like, have some fun.
I wish they don't let me get prisoners. They're like, they're so afraid. They're like, the whole picture of that was going to turn into a puddle. Like, I'm in contact with another prisoner. So they keep me isolated. I get like 3 hours of break by myself every day. And, you know, I do a thing. I exercise a lot. I'm getting in pretty good shape. And, you know, Tim Brady's working really hard to bust my ass out of here. And honestly, the news I heard yesterday was better than anything I've heard so far. I mean,
yeah.
So mine.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, and it's looking good for Karen Reese so far. I mean, Gianetti and Jackson are living up to what they're supposed to be doing for sure. And the tides are turning, and you know, it's really, it sucks that you have to be in the position that you're in right now. But I could tell you right now, I think I could speak for everybody here. You're not in there for nothing, you know, and we appreciate you. And
we're holding the torch
for him right now, because we know that you could plead out, get out of there any minute. So.
No, LC is not free. He was convicted shortly afterwards of some of the crimes. He was found not guilty of attempted murder. So he got off on the big charge, but he caught a couple of the other charges, the smaller charges. And I think he got like 3 years with like a couple. I mean, he had already been in there for like 1.5 years being the prison barber. I mean, no offense to LC, but he was like to call him a barber was, you know, he was the closest thing they had. And it was just something like, it was like a buzz cut. You guys saw my hair when I came during my court appearances. I'm like, wasn't much of a haircut, but you did for jail. It wasn't so bad.
I look at it as an investment, man. Yeah, it sucks. It blows. Obviously, I'm much rather be out here with my family. Just be out here and just do. I'm missing a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, I'm missing a lot. But like, I look at this as an investment in my career, because like, how many journalists get to say they went to jail? Like, that's fucking street cred. You can't buy that kind of street cred. They give it up in here. People are like, you know, it's cool. I think that I'm a political prisoner. Like,
you are. You're in jail because your First Amendment rights are violated. You're staying in jail to fight for everyone's First Amendment rights. That is a fact. That is undeniable.
Well, he's in jail because he's exposing.
And every single person in the jail right now is being prosecuted by Michael Moore's stuff. And I'm the guy who went after Michael Moore's stuff. So everyone in here, you know, there's a lot of junkies particularly here. I'm surrounded by them down here in fucking medical. Let me tell you, 2 nights ago, there was a dude. Oh my fucking God. The whole night he's just yelling, everyone's retarded. I'm gonna kill cops. I'm like, dude, I just look at my earbuds and like, SCO. I'm like, is there anything we can do about it? He's like, no, we just have to put up with them. Like,
that guy was the worst. There was some guy, forget his fucking name, but he would just yell the whole time, "Hey, you're all retarded. You're all." I couldn't sleep. Oh my God. I just tried, put my earbuds in and just passing out, and the guards like, there's nothing we can do. Like, so many people in there should have been in Bridgewater, but they're just in jail, just rotting away, just yelling all night. It's fucking horrible.
There's a dude right next to me right now. It's crazy Asian dude. He got brought down here by like ACO, right? And he tossed him in the cell and gave him his medicine. He got his fucking dinner tonight. It was not how he It's pretty good. He took it and he fucking threw it. I'm going to come out here with crazy stories, and I'll tell you, it just adds to the fucking story, you know, documentary, you name it, like, everything's going to be better as a result of this. It just sucks.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, this is a good thing. Unfortunately, you know, your freedom is compromised, but in the grand scheme of things and everything that you've been trying to do, this is a good thing. And, you know, I hate saying that out loud, but it's the fucking truth.
I would say that Aidan and all the work that he's done.
Hold on. One second, Turtleboy. 1 second. I got Olivia on with me. So, but you can't hear her, but I can hear her. She has something to say. What are you saying, Olivia?
I just wanted to say that I think yesterday was certainly the most official, definitive affirmation publicly on the record that everything Turtleboy has been doing, all of his reporting, his investigating, has been vindicated yesterday.
Right. Yeah. Yesterday was
not that we had doubts, but
that was
right. What Olivia's saying is yesterday was a clear indication that everything that you've been doing is absolutely vindicated. As far as
not that he needs that. He doesn't need that.
But it's that's the consensus basically, is that everything that you've been doing based on the events that took place yesterday, it's absolutely leading to your vindication as far as everything that you've been doing.
She did say that.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, a lot coming from Olivia, and I tell her I loved her tweet the other day about the GPS shit. Like, did so many people send me that tweet?
Yeah, it's Yeah, remember Zia? She's a nice lady, turtle rider. She was like, the kid, the Asian guy, threw his fucking whole plate, and then the peas went under the door. Remember that? He refused to eat it, and he just comes over, and she's just like, "Well, that wasn't very nice." And she goes, fuck you, bitch, N-word. And I would like to give a shout out to her too. CO Reynolds, she got attacked last week, I guess, in medical by a prisoner there, like a complete piece of shit, degenerate rapist, I guess, who attacked her, all right, in medical. And so I hope she's okay. So shout out to CO Reynolds. You were always very nice to me. Thank you very much. Hope your recovery goes well and that they support you there.
That's why I had to bring her on, because like she's surgical, man, on Twitter, dude. Like,
and let me tell you, the woman who put me here, she hated Olivia Lambo. She hated it because she hated anyone who I respected, anyone I thought highly of. She turned on Taylor Reed. It just became a thing jealousy thing. So Olivia, you're doing a fantastic fucking job, obviously. I don't care who you are or where you're from. Doesn't matter. You are a brilliant woman, and then keep up the great work.
yeah, she can hear you. You can't hear her, but she can hear you.
Oh.
And she,
and I just want to say, I've been listening to your show, you crack me up. You were saying about, like, you broke it down so well, that whole affidavit thing, about how, like, she signed up rescue games because she enjoys toxicity. That's all you need to know.
Dude. Bro,
there's 7 people in the world that you could put a quote sense to. You don't have any friends? You don't have any family members? No. You have to seek out something called rescue games.
Bro, like, I'm telling you right now, I never met that woman, but I dated her like 20 times, bro. So, like, I'm telling you, like, I fully understand the situation. I promise you I do. Fully understand. I'm holding back. So
I'm glad the truth is coming out. I'm glad that nobody believes any of this nonsense. It was all set up by the state police. It's all part of it. I hope people see the bigger picture here about the desperation of the Massachusetts State Police. They know that they're going down. They were so desperate that they had to go and seek out a mistress and be like, what did he tell you during pillow talk? Did he tell you anything about Karen Z? That is what they have. That is how desperate they are, and that in and of itself is enjoyable.
Totally. Like when all of this is said and done, there's going to be an inventory taken of events, and that is going to be a major aspect of it. That's going to be in that inventory. So, I mean, again, it sucks that you're going through what you're going through, but it's necessary in order to prove everything that you've been working on this entire time.
What better way to prove corruption? I mean,
I wish I could be out there yesterday. I totally wish I could be out there with the people live streaming, enjoying this. But just know, people are sending me everything. I'm reading it all, I'm consuming it all, and I'm enjoying every fucking minute of this. And it's so easy.
Yeah, I mean, this was like when I went on. It's like this was important for people to know. There was to hear me upbeat, to hear me like 25 days in. I had 35 more days to go. And like every day I was just closer, like literally notching shit. Like, okay, every day I would wake up just a little bit closer to getting there. And yeah, so hold on. And so at the end here, so Mello uses something I'm about to say against me in court. Check this out.
So open it like I told you so. And I don't know who's the greatest. I'm going to have the most fun dancing one. If it's Copenhagen, if it's fucking Cottage Trail, I don't know. But there's a lot of people that I'm just going to just Carl.
Right. And you got nothing but time to think about it.
I got nothing but time. And that's why I'm happy about it. Every day, when Brian Walsh is fucking like, you should see his fucking, like, his room. He's got paperwork and files. He's got leather down books everywhere. He plays with his hair. It's fucking creepy thing in here. But anyway, I look at the front door every day, and I'm like, I'm walking out of that motherfucker, and I'm going to be a dangerous person when I walk out of here. Like, I'm going to be much more dangerous to the establishment when I walk out of this.
Oh, totally.
So that you hear that part? This is, of course, the trolls. Mello said this at my dangerousness hearing when Pomerol kept asking him, but how is he dangerous? How is he dangerous? Why should you want me to hold him for 120 more days? Explain to me how he's dangerous. And he just referenced this.
Anyway, I look at the front door every day, and I'm like, I'm walking out of that motherfucker, and I'm going to be a dangerous person when I walk out of here. Like, I'm going to be much more dangerous to the establishment when I walk out.
I'm going to be much more, like, I'm going to be a dangerous person. I'm going to be much more dangerous to the establishment because of my journalism, not like physically dangerous. I'm a danger to, exposing corruption. Duh.
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been saying from the beginning, like, since you were first charged, I was like, this is all going to have the Streisand effect. This is, it makes no sense that these people think that this is somehow a good move. It's crazy.
Anyway, they're going to kick me off. I'm going to kick off the phone to 10. We have a curfew here. So I'm going to go back and keep listening to 10 o'clock. Love you guys. Love what you're doing. Keep up the great work. And come home soon, I promise.
Right on, man. And thanks for calling, man. I really appreciate it, man. You made everybody in the chat's day. So everybody's great. Everybody's.
All right. Yeah. So that was a fun call. The highlight. And my lawyer afterwards was like, yeah, definitely don't do that again. I'm like, I didn't even know. Don't give them reason to take your phones away. You're allowed to do that. You're like, and 5 days later, Mello filed a motion to take my phones away, and it just didn't work. And so then there was this. There was so on January 25th, I had a hearing for the stupid assault and battery charges, which ended up getting dropped. And this was me exiting the courthouse. I remember I'm like, I'm gonna have a big smile that day. I don't give a fuck. They're not gonna see me down, you know. Listen to this. It's like the Beatles when I came out of here. What is that horn? That was awesome. People tried sending that to me. Do I look bothered there? Not in the least. Going back to jail. That was my favorite day. When I went back to jail that day, it was like I was, I had a bigger smile on my face after that. So that was awesome. Awesome. Oh, leg shackles were like standard. Like you had to wear leg shackles in the cell. They would take your handcuffs off, but they keep the leg shackles on because I'm so dangerous, you know. But all right, what else do we got here? Okay, then we got it's just some highlights from the jail because this is the 1 year anniversary for that. So we also have Microdots here. The footage of me, I believe this is the footage of me getting out of jail.
You folks can play a part in this. Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I have been.
Let me give you some examples.
John McCabe. Why are we protecting John McCabe? Karen's coming down here saying, oh my God, John, why do we have to do this? Why did you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning? Why didn't you Google that? What are we doing? We're in our 40s. Where are we going to an after party? Are you guys related to the McCabe's? Any comment? Mr. Lally. 88 Lally. 88 Lally. Are you in on the cover-up or are you just a useless government stooge? Excuse me, sir. Just a moment. Aidan, Kearney, Turtleboy Daily News. Just have a couple questions for you. What's your name, sir? That's Carl.
Why are you lying about Jim McCabe not being a full federal prosecutor? It's clearly that, Mr. Lally.
Oh.
Are you in on the cover-up? Are you worried about going to jail?
This is great. This is still one of my favorites. Nobody caught a charge for this one, which they probably could have charged us with this one if they wanted, because according to the statute, it's anyone who plans on attending a court proceeding, which Carl and Jackie clearly did. And again, there's Ken in the back there. Ken is a guy on Twitter. And we just escorted them to their car every day. I love she's got no shoes on. That's awesome. It's raining out, and we just.
Why did you say something? If she did it, then isn't there mountains of evidence that you could just cite right now? Mr. Lally, you should be. Okay? Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Jen, why did you Google how long to die in cold at 2:27 in the morning, Jen?
This is the first time I'd ever seen and confronted Jennifer McCabe in public. May 24th, I believe, 2024. She tries to get an order like a week later. Then I go to her kid's lacrosse game. I'm allowed to do this. This is cited in the witness intimidation. They're saying this is witness intimidation because I go up to her and I ask questions.
Any comment on that? I see you guys wearing Justice for JJ shirts. How can you wear those buttons when you covered up his murder? Shame on you, Mr. Lally. Shame on you, Mr. Lally. Why are you guys participating in the cover-up? Any comment on that? Why you Googled that at 2:27? Any comment, Mr. McCabe? Who are you, sir? Who are you, miss? Any comment? How can you show your face in court? Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you ashamed?
That's it. Is it him?
Just doing the journalism, man.
I don't know if I saw.
Really? What are you hiding? Why did you delete all those phone calls, Mr. McCabe? Why did you delete all those phone calls? Why did you delete your Google search, Mr. McCabe?
Seems relevant.
Fill me inside my private business. You got 2 seconds to get out of here.
A Boston police officer was murdered in cold blood. And these people right here, who you're looking at, these people right here, they covered it up. They participated. They're in the murder of a Boston police.
Detective McCabe. Just remember that. Remember this episode, right? What is this? December 28th. We're no longer calling her Jennifer. She's Detective McCabe. Just remember that. Remember this show. You heard it for the first time. Detective McCabe. That's what we're calling her from now on. Detective McCabe.
Officer. These are cop killers, ladies and gentlemen. That's a cop killer right there. You don't want to answer any questions?
Nah,
I mean, you're the one that
not to
messaged
you.
me.
Not to you.
Why
buddy.
not? What's
Not
wrong
to
with
you.
me?
Get out of my store, please. Thanks.
Where can I find
You are a loser.
Oh, I guess he doesn't like me. I guess he doesn't like me.
I don't know why.
He doesn't like me. I just want.
Whoa.
You are a fucking loser.
How am I?
Wait till you get it. Wait.
Wait until I get it. What does that
Whoa.
mean? Wait till I get it. I got that on film. What do you say? You got something coming in?
Wait till you get it. You're on the curb.
Am I really?
Yeah, you're on the grass.
Is Chris here?
Fuck you, pussy.
Roast beef Ronnie.
You.
What do you mean, fuck me?
Fuck you.
Why are you
Fuck
saying?
you, Turtleboy. You're a bully. You guys are bullies with cameras.
Michael Morrissey, we ain't got no quit.
Oh. How are we
Bully
bullies?
with a fucking camera. You're a liar.
Who are you? He's so angry. Why?
Mother every night.
Whoa.
Fuck your mother.
Whoa, yeah, fuck you.
That's so rude. That's so rude.
Oh.
What? Oh, I didn't ask for it. It's okay. Like, give me a break. This is a fucking joke.
Holding the sign.
First Amendment officially suspended. Whoa. What's this violence? What's this all about? I'm just trying to.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that, by the way?
What's this violence?
Watch this.
What's this all about? I'm just trying to.
See this dude? This dude right here. That's Tim the Toolbag Taylor, the guy that was in charge of going after Rubber Ducky Kingpin himself. Rich Schiffer. There he is right there.
Hope you're not driving tonight.
What?
I know all about you.
You have a license, Chris? You get your license as a Florida man?
Prosecutors say he used his online platform
Now
to harass
it's the part where I get out of jail. This is really good footage Richie's got here.
witnesses.
Now he's defending himself.
He's defiant and calls himself a victim.
This is when we were pulling up for my release date. So this is the day I've been waiting for. I woke up at like 5:30 that day. They got me out of there, even though my hearing wasn't till 12 or 12:30. And then I'm like, so I could have just gone to morning recess that day, showered, had a good time, whatever, eat breakfast. But no, I woke up at 5:30, took my last shower there. And because they wanted me out of there by like 7. They always got me out of there real early. And because they don't want the media there. But people were there. And then I had to sit in that cell for 5.5 hours. I found out at like 12 o'clock. Oh, yeah, you've been indicted on like 2 or 3 new charges with the fake victim, whatever, throw them on the pile. I don't care. They're like, but they're going to try to hold you on more bail. Luckily it failed and I was released that day.
Let's go, Aidan! Let's go! Let's go!
Oh, there it is. The release. The crowd was amazing that day. I couldn't believe how many people were outside. It was awesome. Oh, Gianetti. Gianetti was there. Gianetti was there. This was nuts. This is the first time I'd ever seen Grant. I didn't know drones weren't allowed. That's interesting. There's Grant. This was the best feeling.
Hi, with Turtleboy?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, they do. Then we had to go back and get my property.
So here with Aidan, he just got out of jail. We just left the courthouse, going back to jail to pick up his property.
I'm a free man.
He's a free man.
Weird feeling, man. I'm about to go back into this jail where I've been a prisoner for the last 60 days and walk in a free man and ask for my shit. I'm fucking overwhelmed right now. It's just. Yeah, it all works right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that I'm here and I'm not going in to visit him and see him through just a glass screen as much as I enjoyed my time visiting.
I can't believe this was like.
Yeah, this was like, so whatever this thing is down here, that's where I did recess. There's like a basketball cage in there or something like that. I'd run like 7 or 8 miles a day inside this goddamn thing in there.
This is surreal, man. I'm not gonna lie. Just being outside of this place on the other side. So I rep every day. Check it out. So you see those windows right there with the bars? Check this out.
Never.
So every
Never.
day
It's
I would
horrible.
write stories, right? And I would have to call the person that had on the computer and wrote them. I chronicled all of them, and like this is all the blogs I wrote in jail. You have to write it by hand. And then I would call
still have
somebody
those.
who had my
I'm holding
computer,
on to those forever.
and they would just type it in, and that's how content would get published. So we made it work. I'm just
Even I can't believe it. I can't believe how you feel.
it was just a lot. It was just like it was a lot.
That's
I'm
how you
so
know
happy
it's
right now, but it's just I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just overwhelmed. The only way to describe it. It's fucking weird, man. Being here for 60 days feels like a lifetime, and then to go to your cell every day from 10 to 6:30, just sit there, do nothing. Well, not nothing, but just be there alone and with your thoughts, and that's all you can do. And then to come out to this now, it's fucking a lot. Man. It's just a lot.
This is a great
Holy
video.
shit.
I give a fuck about none of this shit. 2 runner over and out of this bitch.
So thank you very much. Yeah. Some and a few people asked, what was the first meal of food you got? I went to I wanted Wendy's. That's what I really wanted. I was just fiending Wendy's, but I didn't even get it on the way home. What the fuck did I eat? I just ate, my mom made, I went back to my parents' house and because that's where I was staying for like a couple weeks till I got on my feet. No, first I went to my parents' house and then I got in the car. Meredith drove me there and then dropped me off, and I then got in the car with them and drove to my ex's house and saw my kids for the first time and surprised them. I got that all on video, not sharing that, but that was awesome. And then then we went out to dinner at this place called the Fix Burger Bar. I love that place. It's in Worcester. They have awesome burgers there. So it was just feeding a big burger. So that's where I went there. So it was a good time. But okay, cool. What else do we got here? Got a couple other clips before I also have a presentation. Mello wants to bring the whole internet to court. Okay. Okay. 140.
Show and tell time. Another teddy bear. My teddy's name is.
So you guys all remember. So the one time I was in jail, the one time you guys actually saw me in jail in like Orange was the day that the hearing for sanctions on Tim Bradle were held. And it's kind of like Mello's last defense. He has disappeared. We filed sanctions on him after this one. And this is where he said he's going to bring the whole internet to court. I see Dave McGrath there. Sad seeing him there because I think he's with them now, the bad guys. So, I mean, Dave can correct me if I'm wrong, but he has to return my messages, so I'm not entirely sure where he stands.
And Ms. Healy are well known among the.
So this is where they tried to take my phones away because I don't remember why. Oh, because they said that Bradle lied about Jen Altman being a lawyer, which didn't matter. She was a paralegal. You can just call anyone a paralegal and you get full protected phone calls. And once they realized that she wasn't a lawyer, which she did not do intentionally, it doesn't matter. She was technically a paralegal for us because she was helping out with the legal team. It was just she got no extra privileges as a result of that. Like lawyer, paralegal, it doesn't matter. And then they took her off the protected call because like my calls with Tim obviously could not be monitored. And he filed a motion. What's his name did? Mello. He's like he's obsessed with witness intimidation. He's like they're planning. He's organizing witness intimidation from jail. Him and Bradle's in on it, and we should have somebody listen to his conversations with Bradle. Like it was unheard of. And so I'm sitting in jail, watching this all go down.
For lack of a better description, Turtle Rider community.
What evidence do I have?
Okay. Type of one, if you heard of both Jen Altman and Courtney, whatever her last name is, prior to yesterday. Type of two, if you never heard of them until yesterday. Wow. There's a few ones. We'll be right out.
Do I have of that?
It's Judge. The evidence is all on the internet, and Mr. Bradle.
It's on the internet.
Obviously, I can't bring the entire internet into you.
There it is.
Impossible. There's just so much out there. But
Evidence is usually brought into court and presented to the court.
I understand that, Your Honor. But what is common knowledge is not necessarily subject to
just look at my face.
I can bring the internet into you. It would be impossible. There's just so.
Just like he's like, I don't like. The judge is like, do you have any evidence that he's intimidating witnesses from jail? Again, he goes, Your Honor, it's on the internet. I can't bring the whole internet to court. And she's like, well, you can bring some of it, like the part where, that backs up the things that you're saying. I was dying laughing at this. I'm like,
so much out there, but
evidence is usually brought into court and presented to the court.
I understand that, Your Honor. But what's common knowledge is not necessarily subject to evidence.
Look at
I can tell Your Honor when the sun.
Look at Turtleboy's face, bro.
That
today,
didn't go
but
well.
I have no evidence of it until the sun sets.
Then it would not be in evidence.
I understand that, but if I may, Your Honor,
She's already annoyed as shit with this guy. If I may, Your Honor, I'm really thirsty and really.
the fact is, Attorney Gradle has
There's no fact here, bro.
actively engaged in conversations with Ms. Altman, with Ms. Healy, and he's well aware because of his involvement in this case, just as I am, that these individuals were administrators on the defendant's various blogs, YouTube pages, Facebook pages, whatever. And I think it would be disingenuous for him to say anything other than that. He's been involved, I'm going to suggest, almost on a full-time basis with this case, only since he filed his notice of appearance.
All right.
And for that particular purpose, he knew who Ms. Altman was. He knew who Ms. Healy was. There's no doubt, and he misrepresented to be people who they were not.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Has this information been provided by you or anyone else from the Commonwealth to the sheriff that Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy are not attorneys?
The sheriff's office discovered that themselves, Judge.
Okay.
And discovered that from me when I spoke to them on the phone, and I told them that.
Okay.
That is a serious mistake.
Okay. And what actions, to your knowledge, has the sheriff taken with that information?
I'm not certain what they're going to be doing with the judge. We're waiting for today's hearing.
Well, what are the rules at the jail regarding whether non-attorneys can...
I mean, I miss Mello. He's so incompetently bad. It's too bad that he's faking illness to not show his face in court. But yeah, there's that. Okay. What about this? We have Mello's crazy demands of phone calls. Let's see what we
the sheriff just off.
Where he demands that we listen. This is what he demanded.
I understand your position, Mr. Bradle. Attorney Mello, the first request that you have of me in your motion is that the Norfolk County Sheriff be ordered to revoke the defendant's privilege of communicating with parties other than his counsel of record. Given the testimony that I have heard today, you want to stop his ability to use the tablet or the telephone in all respects.
Other than his children and Attorney Gradle, yes, Your Honor.
And what power do I have to do that?
Your Honor,
order the Sheriff's Department to limit his telephone privileges.
What power do I have?
The inherent authority of the court allows that, Your Honor. The court can certainly do that.
But I thought your point was those would be monitored. All communications other than with counsel of record would be monitored.
They would be, Your Honor. However, what's come out thus far has certainly been harassing to some of the individuals. As I indicated, the victim who, the last arrest that put Mr. Kearney in the jail, just online this week, indicating, this victim knows I'm innocent. And there have been a number of other elements of harassment. Mind you, this is the same defendant, Judge.
Well, she does know I'm innocent. I think I made a post from jail on Twitter that said Lindsay, everybody knows I'm innocent, especially Lindsay Gattani, because there's the two people on earth who know better than anyone that the only two people on earth who know for sure, 1000% sure, that I never laid a finger on her are me and her. That's it. I mean, you all believe I didn't do that, obviously, because it's not like me. And why the fuck would I do that? It makes no sense. And she has no credibility or anything. So you infer that I obviously didn't do that. But the only two people who know as a fact that every night when they go to bed and it's just us, them and their thoughts, who know full well that didn't happen, were me and her. And so that's just an undeniable fact. Sorry,
that
Mello.
has openly acknowledged in court that he wanted the opportunity to post DCF records about this particular victim in order to humiliate him for no other purpose. So he's still engaged in his campaign, if you will.
Posting DCF records to humiliate it. Like, that's what they're saying is witness intimidation. First of all, people, if you've lost your kids to DCF, if anyone has lost, if you're out there listening, and you've lost your kids to DCF, that's you should be humiliated. That's hard to do in this state. Yeah, absolutely. You have to be a real big piece of shit to lose your goddamn kids in this state, in Massachusetts, as a woman. Bro, that's hard. That's hard to do.
Of harassment and intimidation. And the original order was that came out from the district court in Stoughton. All those cases are now no pros. The purpose of the order was to stop from directly or indirectly attempting to intimidate people. He's behind bars, Your Honor, and he's just as active as he was when he was in public.
But that's why I asked you at the outset. There is no order like that in this case now.
No.
Okay. Anything else then before I take this under advisement, Attorney Mello?
Your Honor, we do have the last, and this is an abundance of caution. I know it's unprecedented. We have paint teams being established in this matter for various telephones and electronic devices that have been taken. Obviously, Your Honor, the purpose of a paint team is to prevent the Commonwealth from viewing anything that would be considered to be attorney-client or otherwise prohibited to the Commonwealth that's on these devices. One of our concerns, Judge, with that respect, is that we need, and this is what's unprecedented, the Commonwealth feels it needs a paint team of sorts that works in the present time.
What?
We are so concerned about Mr. Bradle's actual intentions, and the Commonwealth. I apologize, the Commonwealth does not concur with Mr. Bradle's position that it was an accident or an error.
And the whole time they had already looked at my phones. Just a reminder.
Certainly, that's something that at the very least should have been confirmed. So again, the Commonwealth does not concur that it was an accident. Nonetheless, given the fact that Mr. Bradle made such a move, if you will, to have non-attorneys listed as attorneys, we're concerned that Mr. Bradle's motives may be to play up to the defendant's desire for this publicity that he has, and that if attorney communications with the defendant,
okay, Mello, calm down. I like I said, I miss how incompetent he was. Again, sitting there. At least I was just happy to be out of my cell. I looked forward to that day. I'm like, oh, cool. I got to get out of my cell and do something. I get to go on the computer. This will be fun. All right, cool. Let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of clips here. I'll find a lot of shorts in the tab of the trial under a minute. Okay. I got a whole bunch of maybe I'll revisit some of these at the end because I got a little presentation I want to do tonight. But anyway, let me read a couple turtle chats here, and then we'll get back to what I was doing. Okay. Danielle sends $25 and says, "Thank you for the Christmas cameo. My pleasure. I think I watched it 1,000 times, dying laughing. Santa isn't coming to you guys this year because you're pieces of shit and you know it and I know it. I'm dead. Love it. Love you, Doc." Oh, that was the Christmas cameo I made for Julie Carpenter. She got so mad about that. Big Red fun time. Julie Carpenter was so mad that I did a Christmas cameo dedicated to her. Like, again, if you didn't see, it's like, oh, was it this one? I think it was this one.
Have you seen this? Good morning, whatever. Merry Christmas from your favorite.
She was so mad.
Turtleboy, Aidan Kearney, aka A. Timothy Kearney, when I'm wearing a leather jacket and deep in thought in the woods and solving murder mysteries. Anyway, this is a special cameo, Christmas cameo shout out to, I believe, Julie Carpenter and Kerry Lama. I heard you guys are big fans of the Justice for John O'Keefe and Free Karen Reed movement, because as you guys know, there is no such thing as justice for John O'Keefe without freeing Karen Reed. You cannot have them both. I'm just saying, you know it. I know it. I know we do this whole thing online where we're antagonistic towards each other because somebody's got to be the villain. And obviously you guys look quite villainous, so you got to play that part. I totally get it. I love the part. I love the part where Matt McCabe went out and that little made-up story there about drinking coffee with the garbage man. That was a cute one. I'll give you that one. That was a good one, Kerry Lama. But you know what? I hope the McAlberts enjoy their last Christmas as free people, because I ain't never going to jail. I did it once. It was no big thing, right? But I don't got to do like the kind of time they're doing. Oh, I wouldn't want to look at that. I'd much rather be in my shoes. I'm a lot better looking. Let's be honest. I mean, you know that and I know that. But anyway, I hope all you people have a wonderful Christmas, even you pieces of shit on the anti side. You know, Santa's not coming for you this year. He's never coming for you because you suck.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, we're all in this for justice for John O'Keefe, and that will come in June when you hear those two beautiful words, not guilty, because it's coming, baby.
Ooh,
Let's
yeah.
go. 2025 is
Spicy.
the year. Peace.
Okay. So that was a fun. She got so mad about that. That is untrue. It's like, oh, Big Red. I love it when you get big mad, Big Red. Oh, I love it. I love twisting. I love pulling your string and watching you dance, puppet dance for me, Big Red. All right, cool. Just got news, by the way, and I'd heard rumors about this, but it seems to be confirmed. At least that's what people are saying. Chief Ken Berkowitz has passed away. This is unofficial, but I had heard rumors that he was extremely sick going into it, but 57 minutes ago, a post was made in a Facebook group saying that Chief Berkowitz has died from his battle with cancer. So as far as Chief Berkowitz goes, I hope that he wrote something down. I hope he has some sort of, because that motherfucker knew where again, it would be if the one decent thing Ken Berkowitz could have done is write some sort of confession on the way out that he won't never have to be accounted for if he dies. Because and there's no fucking way in hell you'll convince me that Ken Berkowitz didn't play an active part in this cover up. Ken Berkowitz found taillight from a moving vehicle while he was driving along like a week and a half later. Okay. Ken Berkowitz, I mean, he did a bunch of shit. He was just so close with the McAlberts. Like he was just the face of corruption. And, you know, I'm not going to dance on his grave or anything like that. I didn't know the guy. But at the end of the day, I hope for his soul that he did the right thing on the way out and wrote some sort, if he's actually dead. I mean, I'm seeing this from, it seems legit what I'm seeing, the post I'm seeing right now. I knew there was an ambulance at his house last week, but it wasn't confirmed that he was dead. But it seems he appears to have passed away today. And if he was involved in framing an innocent woman and covering up the murder of a cop, never forget, Ken Berkowitz contacted a news reporter from Boston 25 News and asked them to take down a tweet mentioning that John O'Keefe was found on the lawn of Brian Albert's house in a February 1st tweet, and said that Brian Albert was a pillar of the community and should not have his name put out there like that. So I hope for his soul, because if he doesn't do the right thing, if he didn't do the right thing and make amends on the way out, then eternal damnation awaits him. He is going to burn in hell. So I don't want to see Berkey burn in hell. I would like to see, I'm a Catholic. I believe in forgiveness. All right. And, you know, anyone, it's a great deal, Catholicism. You can just, even though he's not Catholic, you can just, I think Jews have that too. I think they have confession or something similar to it. And you can just say you're sorry to God and you just get it forgiven. It's awesome. It's the greatest thing ever. So I hope for his sake, he did that. Because if he went to his grave covering this up, I mean, what a fucking horrible, horrible legacy to leave behind. So that's all I'm going to say about that. All right, cool. Next up. Sandra sends $50. Thank you, Sandra. And says, you should write a book. You are changing history. I wish you the best for 2025 and forevermore. I will definitely be writing a book about this whole thing. My involvement in it. I just have to find a publisher and I need a new agent. Obviously, Valentinus did not work out. I've written a book before. I'm self-published author. Self-published. It's on Amazon. It's called I Am Turtleboy. But if we've been over this before with the Jews don't believe in hell, then what are you guys afraid of? Like, what keeps you in line? You know, because what keeps Christian people in line is hell. It's literally the whole purpose of hell and heaven is it keeps you in line. It's like Santa Claus for adults. It's like, well, you want to go to heaven, don't you? You don't go to hell. Well, fucking no. I want to go to heaven. Just live there forever. It's gonna be awesome. I want to hell. It's hell. You know, it's an eternity. It sucks. You know, but anyway, yes, I Am Turtleboy by A. Timothy Kearney. You can check it out. It's on Amazon. Go read it. Okay, next up. So thank you for that one, Sandra. Samantha sends $10 and says, I work with Andrea Renee. Oh, I love Andrea. And we talk about you guys often. And let me say, you have absolutely killed this. Karen, John, and all involved are blessed to have you on their side. Well, my pleasure, Samantha. Happy to do it. Happy to do it. Thank you very much for that one. Also, let's see. We got a Cash App or two here. I saw. Let's see. Judy sends $50. Thank you, Judy, and says a shout out to Auntie Deb and Oblivious Benson. Oblivious Benson. So thank you for that one. And shout out to you too as well. All right, cool. If anyone else wants their message read out loud to the class tonight, you can click the link at the top for Turtle Chat, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and we can do it that way. All right, cool. So I've been binging on this other guy. His name's Brother Counsel. Speaking of Jews, He's got a YouTube channel, which you should check out. He's only got 11,000 subscribers. Oh, I say only. Wait, how have I haven't subscribed? Oh, boom. Now I'm one of his subscribers. Okay, cool. He's been putting out some really good content. He's a lawyer, and he's putting out some good content about the Reed case. And he's been breaking down this prosecutor's podcast, which I think I need to expose those two assholes to, who are just, I've not listened to them. I heard that they were pro Commonwealth, so I didn't even bother. But he's been doing a breakdown of their podcast, and I'm like, oh, this is just Phelps all over again. I'm just lying, just straight up lying about the facts of this case. And so he did a presentation here, and he watched the Michelle Troconis trial. You guys know Michelle Troconis? She was the girlfriend of Fotis Dulos. Fotis Dulos was this guy from southwestern Connecticut, I think Stamford area, who murdered his wife, Jennifer Dulos. They were divorced or going through a divorce and had 5 kids together. And they were rich because they had a huge house in Connecticut, which probably cost a lot of money. And then he had another huge house in Connecticut, but he was also like a shady dealer businessman. And she came from money, and I don't know, a lot of money was involved. And I don't know if it was over custody or what, but the dude just had a temper, and the story of him killing her was crazy. Like, he took all the precautions. He left his phone with Michelle Troconis. Because he knows they can track your phone. He drove like a couple miles away, and then he got in a bike. He rode his bike towards the house, and then snuck in like through the back and lay in wait in the garage waiting for her, and then murder her in the garage. All right. And so Troconis, and then he got rid of all the bloody clothing and everything, and the knife and everything. In Hartford, they got him on tape at various dumpsters, just dumping shit into the, trash bins. And Michelle Troconis was with him when that happened. And so she was charged. I forget what the charge was, but it was like accessory to commit whatever. And she was found guilty. She had a trial, and her whole family, she like is Spanish, I think, like something, I don't know. These people are all weird. Like, they're all wicked. Like, Fotis Dulos was the biggest weirdo. He ended up committing suicide, by the way. He was charged with murder, and he was charged with something, and then got out on bail. And then while out on bail was charged with murder. And when they were coming to his house, he killed himself. They found him dead in the garage. And so, he's from like Argentina or some shit. Michelle Troconis, and the I think they're well off, and they were all wicked supportive of her during the trial. She ends up getting found guilty, and she got a hefty sentence. She got like, I think 15 years in jail, something like that. A lot. And I was surprised. I did not think Michelle Troconis was going to get that much time in jail. So they obviously did. Venezuela, that's where she's from. Yeah. They obviously did a good job prosecuting her, improving that she was not just some active, some girlfriend that didn't snitch on her boyfriend, that she actively participated in the planning of Jennifer Dulos's murder. And they never found the body either of Jennifer Dulos or anything like that. So, and Fotis tried letting her off the hook too. In his suicide note, he specifically wrote that like Michelle had nothing to do with any of this and blah, blah, blah. It didn't work. So yeah, Fotis is from Greece, and he's wicked into water skiing. Like, if you went on his Facebook, like he tried to get all his kids into like competitive water skiing. Like, he was obsessed. It's the randomest thing to be obsessed with, water skiing. So yeah. Anyway, those kids have been through a lot, but I digress. So he played the closing statements from the prosecutor in the Michelle Troconis case, and it was just really good. So I'm going to play a couple, some of that here, and just
to their house
right now.
Is it just watch this closing argument for a little bit, and then you'll see how we're going to do this as well in the Karen Reed case.
I want to just talk now, because the evidence in this case is proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I want to just pose these questions to you as you head into your deliberations.
Is it really just a bunch of coincidences? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant answered Willis's phone at 4 Jefferson Crossing when he was murdering his wife in New Canaan? Is it just a coincidence that Willis's phone is being moved and manipulated when only the defendant is home?
Yeah. So it's like, so she's being charged, of course, with participating in this murder. And so he's asking the jury, like, is all of this a coincidence? Or is she guilty? Or is she involved in this? Is all of this shit? Is it a coincidence that Fotis Doulos' phone is being moved around when only Michelle Troconis was home? Is it a coincidence that that the defendant, Michelle Troconis, answered his phone, okay, when he was murdering his wife in New Canaan? So like that was the plan, was that like make it look like Fotis is on the phone so he couldn't be the murderer. So and she's the one that answered it. So that tells you that this is premeditated. She knew exactly what he was doing. All right. So he
at 4 Jefferson Crossing when he was murdering his wife in New Canaan. Is it just a coincidence that Doulos' phone is being moved and manipulated when only the defendant is home? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant brought cleaning supplies to 80 Mountain Spring Road where the cleanup of this home was going on? Is it just a coincidence that the call from Greece is not in the defendant's timeline?
I don't know what that means. I didn't watch the trial completely. I feel like I should have. But yeah.
Is it just a coincidence that during the cleanup, only hours after Jennifer was murdered, the defendant is shuttling back and forth between 4 Jefferson and 80 Mountain Spring Road? Is it just a coincidence during these trips back and forth, the defendant starts a fire at 4 Jefferson Crossing? Is it just a coincidence that during these trips back and forth, the defendant starts a second fire at 4 Jefferson Crossing?
Wait, does anybody know what these fires are? Again, I'm watching this. I'm like, wait, fires? What did she do? She started fires? And maybe somebody in the chat can help me out with that. What did Michelle Troconis do? She started a fire, like 4 fires. She lit a third fire. Like, wait, what?
The defendant starts a fire at 4 Jefferson Crossing. Is it just Jennifer was murdered? The defendant shuttling back and forth. The defendant starts a second fire at 4 Jefferson Crossing. Is it just a coincidence that the defendant eventually lights a third fire at 4 Jefferson Crossing? Is it just a coincidence?
So let me see the chat. Somebody's got to know. So what did she do? She the fire in the fireplace. Oh. She was burning evidence in the chimney. Is that what she was doing? So it was suspicious that she was lighting a fire in the fireplace in the summer. How did they know she was lighting a fire? Interesting. I got to go back and watch some of this. This sounds interesting. True crime is I get why you guys are so into this shit. It's fascinating, you know. She burned something in the fireplace. Probably evidence, I'm guessing. So it's like a coincidence. None of this is a smoking gun, he's saying. None of this proves, we don't know what she was burning in the fireplace, but is this all a coincidence? Is all of this behavior just a coincidence? Smoke was in the chimney on a neighbor's camera. That's interesting. Wow. Fascinating. You guys know more about this shit than I do. Wow. They believe they burned her body. Wow. Sick.
While Doulos is cleaning the Tacoma, she takes a brown stained paper towel from him and throws it in the trash. Is it just a coincidence that despite no one telling her to, she took the keys to the Tacoma? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant travels with Doulos to Hartford as he disposes of the evidence on the same day?
Just a coincidence.
Is it just a coincidence that the defendant brought black garbage bags to 80 Mountain and Jennifer's shirt and bra were found inside black trash bags? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant brought a green and yellow sponge to 80 Mountain Spring Road and 2 of those were found in the trash in Hartford?
That's a pretty big coincidence.
Is it just a coincidence that the defendant brought a broom and the police found a mop or a broom handle in the trash at Albany Avenue in Hartford?
That's a pretty big coincidence.
Is it just a coincidence that the defendant opened the door to the Raptor at the exact moment that Doulos exits the vehicle to dump those license plates in the sewer and block?
So in block that other vehicle's view. Interesting. Yeah. So she's like actively trying to protect him from being seen.
Other vehicle's view. Is it just a coincidence that despite her daughter not being home, the defendant panicked when the police came to the house, went to 3 separate rooms and said, "I don't want to be here"?
Wait, what did she do? Their daughter was not home. And when the police came to the house, she went to 3 separate rooms and said, "I don't want to be here." I don't get what that has to do with the daughter being home. Who can fill me in on that one? I don't get that one. Okay, maybe you guys could fill me in on that one. I don't get that one.
By the way, if the police come to someone's door while their child is not home, would you expect a reasonable person to immediately go to the door to make sure the child is okay? Unless, of course, that person just knowingly committed a crime.
I don't get what that one means. Anybody know? I did not get this whole thing. If the police come to someone's door while their child is not home, would you expect a reasonable person to immediately go to the door to make sure that their child is okay? And so they're saying, like, if your kid wasn't home and the cops came to your door, wouldn't you be worried that the police are there because of something related to your kid? Is that what they're saying there? Okay. I see what they're saying there. So she went to all these different rooms and said, I don't belong here. I got you. All right. Oh, I mean, that's like asking, like, if the police came to your house and like there's first responders and you just don't come outside at all. It sounds a lot like that, like not being concerned about that.
Unless, of course, that person just knowingly committed a crime. Is it just a coincidence that the defendant followed photos of the car wash and then tried to lie about it? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant's phone number and not Doulos' number was used at the car wash?
I don't get that, but
is it just a coincidence that the defendant lied and said she showered with Doulos when he was actually en route to murder his wife?
That's a pretty big coincidence. So she's just lying and saying that, no, he was with me at this time. We were showering together, getting our freak on in the shower. Okay.
Is it just a coincidence that the defendant lied about seeing Doulos in the office again while he was in New Canaan, murdering his wife? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant initially denied seeing Doulos' phone on the morning that Jennifer was murdered? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant said she saw Doulos meeting with Kent winning before Jennifer?
I mean, now that Doulos is dead, why didn't she just say that, like, oh yeah, he made me do it all? I didn't, like, I was in an abusive relationship with him and he made me do all this. Thank God he's dead. I can finally be safe. Why didn't she just say that? Wouldn't that have been the smarter thing to do? If they have all this evidence on you, I would just be like, oh, he made me do it all. He's a fucking murderer. He murders women and shit. She did say that. So that defense didn't work. It's a perfect defense if he's dead because he can't deny any of it. You just blame it all on him. He murdered somebody. So what else is he capable of? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Crossing around the time of Jennifer's murder, the same information that was in Doulos' timeline. Is it just a coincidence that the defendant never mentioned starting a fire to the police until they confronted her in the third and final interview? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant failed to mention that the Tacoma was at Aidan Mountain Spring Road during her first two interviews? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant never mentioned that Doulos had washed the Tacoma during her first two interviews? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant answered the one call mentioned in Doulos' timeline on that morning as having been answered by him on the morning of his wife's murder? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant failed to tell police that Doulos' bicycle was at 80 Mountain Spring Road until the third and final interview? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant lied about not going back to 80 Mountain Spring Road to return those keys? Is it just a coincidence that Doulos spoke with Gianetti to keep the defendant, quote, out of this, with the name brought up the defendant taking his keys? Is it just a coincidence that the defendant's DNA was found on the opening of the garbage bag that also contained bloodstains, tape, and Jennifer Doulos' DNA?
That's a pretty big coincidence.
Are all these things just coincidences? Or is the defendant guilty? Now,
wait, he spelled something wrong on the PowerPoint. We haven't. Oh, for fuck's sake. We have proven this case. Okay. It's like, of all the letters to, you're not going to, how do you not edit your PowerPoint going into the closing arguments of a murder trial? How do you not, and how did that not come up with a red line underneath it? I know haven is a word, but that's a pretty big typo, because the difference between have and haven't is a really big thing. We have proved, first of all, we have proved, even if we have proved this case, I mean, proved or proven. I think he meant to put the N after prove. We haven't, it sounds like haven't proved. We haven't proved this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, then, not guilty. Okay, then. We haven't, that's a big typo. How do you fuck that one up? Jeez Louise.
Or is the defendant guilty? Now,
so I thought
he does
that was very powerful. When I was watching this,
so he does this with the Karen Reed thing.
Trial. I thought that was extremely powerful. The way that he, all these coincidences where you can try to start explaining away each one of the coincidences, but like, come on, all the coincidences together that means that there was a conspiracy. And that's how they were able to eventually get, their guilty verdict against Michelle Troconis, by showing, look, there's so many coincidences that you have to start explaining away that it makes a lot more sense that this was actually a conspiracy. So using that same type of approach, using that same logic when it comes to the Karen Reed case, we can also plug in some of these coincidences. And now I went through a number of them. I'm going to put them up. I'm sure there's more. And I know we have a very astute audience here, and they may catch some things that I didn't catch, but this was just kind of my quick review from some of the evidence, which are all coincidences, which would either be explained away, each one individually, or altogether seems like there's something more going on here. Now, I'm not going to say very clearly, I'm not going to say that this proves to me, or that proves to you, that there is an absolutely conspiracy here. I'm not saying that. And I've never said that. And I'm not wholly convinced that there was a conspiracy just yet. I haven't seen enough evidence of it.
I like this guy. He's very honest. And I've heard a lot of people say that. It's like, I haven't seen it. I think you have. I think you have seen enough. And again, it's just one or the other. Like, that's the thing about this, is it's either Karen Reed did it or a conspiracy happened. The McAlberts did it, and then a conspiracy to cover up the crime afterwards took place. Those are the only two options in this. So, like, if you think that Karen Reed didn't do it, it means that the McAlberts did do it, and that it was covered up after the fact. Like, that happened. So it's kind of one or the other. There's no middle ground. Like, nobody is saying that, like, well, maybe the plow driver did it, or maybe a pack of coyotes did. Like, nobody's saying that. It's one or the other.
There are, but these things definitely bring out some questions. It brings out doubt about whether the jury is getting the full story. So if I'd be presenting this as a closing argument, I wouldn't necessarily be arguing that you see clearly 100% that there's a conspiracy here. What I would be showing with all these coincidences that can either be explained, or it shows that you, the jury, do not have the full story here. And if you don't,
I like that comment, right? And I think this was a mistake on the defense's part, is that they tried to prove that exactly what happened in that house, and they didn't have to do that. And all you have to do is provide reasonable doubt, and put in the heads of the jurors that, like, yeah, it could have happened. There could have been a conspiracy. Like, in order, all these coincidences, all these things happen, and he's going to go over some of them here. And that's all you need for reasonable doubt. Is like, yeah, maybe. At the very least, maybe.
Don't have the full story, that's going to create reasonable doubt. Okay, so we're going to pull that up, but actually the first slide is a little bit of a different argument that I would also make to the jury, and I think it's a very strong argument, and I always love to put the other lawyer on the spot. If I'm able to do this, if I have the real gotcha moment, I love to, in my closing argument, say, I hope the other attorney can get up here and explain to you the following, because what we saw in trial brings out this issue, and I don't know why the other attorney is ignoring it. I hope he gets up here now, or she gets up here now, and can explain to you what it is and why they decided not to talk about it, or something like that. Okay, so that's just what I'm going to touch on first, and then we're going to get into how I would present the coincidences. Okay, so let's just pull this up. Now, some of you may think that the prosecutor's job is to convict people. Well, actually, that's not what the Massachusetts courts say. And this is a direct quote from case law in Massachusetts. The prosecutor's role is to assist the jury in discovering the truth, not merely to secure a conviction. So if you are a prosecutor, your job is to assist the jury in discovering the truth, which would mean presenting...
Assist the jury in discovering the truth, yet the prosecutors, in this case, are actively trying to prevent the ARCCA experts and Dr. Marie Russell from testifying at all. They're doing the opposite. They're not trying to help assist the jury in discovering the truth. They are trying to hide the truth from the jury. They're doing the opposite. So this, clearly they're just not doing their job, which is to seek truth, not secure convictions.
All of the evidence to the jury, not trying to hide evidence, not trying to not hire people that are necessary for the jury to understand from their expertise how to interpret certain facts and certain evidence. Your job as a prosecutor is to provide the truth, to provide the tools in which the jury can see the truth, not to secure convictions. That's very important. And therefore, I have a question for the prosecutor in this case, the Karen Reed case. Okay, and hopefully, this is what I would say, hopefully Mr. Lally can get up here, or the other attorney, Mr. Lally can get up here and explain to you why he didn't do this for you. Because if he's trying to secure a conviction, I understand it. I understand why he wouldn't be doing something. But if he's honest to his role, and his role is to assist the jury in discovering the truth, well, then he should have done something. You know what that is, ladies and gentlemen? The prosecutor in this case, the Commonwealth in this case, should have called the two ARCCA experts.
Yes.
Why do we have to call them? In their case, they should have called them. After all, maybe they don't like what they're saying, but if they're just here to help the jury in discovering the truth, don't you think that having these two biomechanical experts who are extremely qualified as accident reconstructionists, don't you think that that would help the jury in discovering the truth? And you heard from both Dr. Wolf and Dr. Rentschler that they made themselves available to both the defense and the prosecution. So I want to know, why didn't the prosecution call these witnesses as part of their case? You're right, it may not look good for you, but if a prosecutor is honest to his role and the Commonwealth is honest to their role is just discovering the truth. So they should put all the evidence in front of you, whether it helps them or not. Now, they can explain to you why they believe that those experts still do not prove anything and don't hurt the reason why you should lock up Karen Reed. That's fine. They can do that. They can argue. That's their opinion. But as their job is to show you everything. So why is it that we had to call these experts? Why is that? Do they really think that these experts are not reliable? They're not credible? And even if they believe that they're not credible, if this is all about discovering the truth, don't you think that they should have called these experts? So I think that's also a point that could have been made in the closing argument. Now let's move on. Okay, so let's go on to the coincidences. Is it just a coincidence that no one from law enforcement ever followed up with Brian Lucky Lawford until 2023 after the defense interviewed him? Is it just a coincidence that a piece of glass would stay on the bumper through being towed through a blizzard? How would that glass stay there? Is it just a coincidence that Jennifer McCabe deleted multiple calls that night, the night that John O'Keefe was murdered? Is it just a coincidence that the Alberts sold their house after the murder? Is it just a coincidence that the Alberts rehomed their dog of 6 years, 4 months, 6 to 7 years, 4 months after the murder? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Albert called Brian Higgins that night at 2:22 a.m., which was, I guess, a butt dial? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Higgins called Brian Albert back and that phone call lasted 22 seconds? Is that just a coincidence that that's when that butt dial happened to happen? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Albert's first phone call the next morning was to Brian Higgins? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Higgins destroyed his phone and SIM card in a dumpster in a military?
Just a coincidence.
Is it just a coincidence that Brian Albert also got rid of his phone after the murder of John O'Keefe?
Because none of these things prove that the McAlberts conspired to murder John O'Keefe, but it's so suspicious, all of it. And is it just a coincidence that all of this suspicious behavior happened to these people right around this time? All of this bizarre, unexplainable behavior that just, they all seem to have an explanation for it, but even their explanations don't make any sense. Like, I was fucking my wife and then I butt answered the phone while fucking her. Like that's their answer. Like that happened. You know what the odds of that happening are? Well, you're fucking your wife and Brian Higgins calls you at 2:22 in the morning and so the odds of Brian Albert answering that phone while fucking his wife are like 1 in a million, multiplied by the odds that Brian Higgins also butt dialed you. Like, that's 2 butt things happening at the same time. Do you know what the odds of that are mathematically? And they want us to believe that's a coincidence. Okay.
Is it just a coincidence that 34 Fairview was never searched when a dead body ended up on their lawn from someone who was invited to their house?
Yeah.
Is it just a coincidence? Is there really not probable cause to be able to search that house? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Higgins went back to the police station after he left the Alberts that night? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Albert never came out of his house when 6 emergency vehicles with engines running and lights on were outside his bedroom? Think he slept through all that? Is it just a coincidence that Colin Albert was left out of the report of people who were at 34 Fairview that night? Is it just a coincidence that John O'Keefe's phone registered steps going up and down stairs minutes before his death? Is it just a coincidence that there is missing surveillance footage from the Sallyport when Karen Reed's Lexus was there? Is it just a coincidence that the Sallyport video was inverted during trial until we pointed out, meaning we, if you're acting like the defense attorney? Is it just a coincidence that it took 3 months to get evidence sent to the lab for testing? Is it just a coincidence that all the people that left 34 Fairview that night didn't see a 6'2" man lying in the front yard, which according to the Commonwealth, he was there. That's what John O'Keefe was there, lying in the front yard. And all those people who left 34 Fairview didn't see it. Is that just a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that Jennifer McCabe didn't tell the grand jury that Karen said, I hit him? Is it just a coincidence that no broken pieces of taillights were initially found on the scene? They're only discovered magically later. Is it just a coincidence that John O'Keefe's shoe was located on the curb when the experts say the strike the Commonwealth suggested happened would not have caused the shoe to come off?
Underrated thing.
That's what the ARCCA expert said.
Underrated thing right there. What'd I just do? Underrated thing right there. that the McAlberts always fail to point out when they talk about the ARCCA experts. They're like, see, they said it was, they testified that he got knocked out, that car collisions, you can get knocked out of your shoes, and John had no shoes. They're just so dishonest. Like, play the freaking testimony of that. They ask him, could you get knocked out of your shoes during an automobile collision? And they're very clear. Yes, if you are struck head on. But if you are sideswiped, you cannot get kicked out of your shoes. And the Commonwealth is alleging that John was sideswiped. So according to your theory, the one that you're presenting to this court, it is impossible for him to have been kicked out of his shoes. And they always just play, yeah, when you get hit by a car, you get kicked out of your shoes. They play that part. They don't play the part where they're like, but that's not what you're saying happened. You're saying this happened. So that in that case, it's impossible. I mean, I still can't believe we're talking about being incapacitated from a sideswipe. I still can't believe that. A sideswipe that there's no blood. Like, hold on, I got to write some more. I got a couple things. No. Okay. That caused like no bruising on the arm or anything like that. Like, literally the only part of John O'Keefe's body that the Commonwealth says was hit by Karen Reed's vehicle was his right arm. That's it. And he died. They want you to believe that you can get hit in the arm by a car going 24 miles an hour and die from that. John O'Keefe, a 6'2", 220-pound, healthy 46-year-old man, a cop, had no bruising on his arm, no broken bones, and just being hit by a car did that. Like, that's, I mean, I can't believe like there's any grown adult retarded enough to think that is even remotely a possibility. You have to be retarded to think that. Just absolutely fucking retarded. You should not be allowed to do anything, vote, drive a car, take care of children, nothing. You're just too retarded to function if you think that's if you think that's even remotely a possibility. And I still can't believe we're here right now. Like, but anyway, back to this.
Sideswipe would never cause a shoe to come off. Is it just a coincidence that according to the key cycles, the Lexus was in police custody when it recorded doing 24 miles per hour backwards? So that is a number of coincidences, and that's something that you'd have to believe. So that, I think, would be a nice, effective way to tell the jury, look, I don't know if there's a conspiracy or not. You know, we don't have to prove that there's a conspiracy, but I will tell you something. All these coincidences mean that we don't know really what happened that night. There's a lot of questions that are unanswered, unless you want to just chalk it all up to coincidence. And all these coincidences happen to happen the same time over the same span.
So I was inspired by this, and I'm like, I'm going to do my own. Is it a coincidence? Because he hit a lot, but there is so much more. And I tried doing a PowerPoint, and I ran out of time. So I'm just going to read these to you from my list here. And then maybe I'll do it. I haven't written a blog article in like a week. And maybe I'll just do one on, is it a coincidence, you know, and listen to all of these. Cause like there's so much more. You guys ready? And you guys can maybe help me afterwards. I can take some notes on this and tell me what I've missed here. Okay, let's do it. All right. Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor failed to mention that he has known the Albert family for decades? Is that a coincidence that he just didn't mention that, didn't take himself off the case? I guess that's a coincidence. Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor's mother called the Alberts a, quote, second family in a 2019 Facebook post? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Lieutenant Gallagher, Officer Mullaney, Officer Saraf, and Sergeant Good all searched the area where John's body was found when just more than an inch of snow had fallen, and none of them saw any of the 45 pieces of taillight that were sitting right there or John's missing shoe? Is that a coincidence that they all missed that? Every single one of them missed all of that. Is that a coincidence? Or maybe there's a conspiracy. Is it a coincidence that for the first time in history, the prosecution in this case completely disregarded a deleted Google search that inculpates a person who invited a dead man to a house where he was found dead on the lawn? Has that ever happened before? Where not the defense, the prosecution says that a Google search that was deleted didn't actually happen. And that Google search would inculpate a person who invited the deceased person to the place where his body was found. Is that a coincidence? Because that's fucking wild if it is. Is it a coincidence that the Commonwealth said on April 20th that Jennifer McCabe's Google search didn't happen, despite the fact that they had not yet hired or spoken to Jessica Hyde or Ian Whiffen at that point? How did they know when they said that the Google search didn't happen? How did they know that that was going to be the conclusion that they reached? They had never spoken to either of those people who ended up being their witnesses at the trial. How did they know what they were going to say? That's quite the coincidence. Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor lied in a police report, claiming that Michael Trotta told him that the Canton DPW did not plow Fairview Road that night, and that that critical information prevented Proctor from interviewing a critical witness? Is that a coincidence that he just got that completely wrong? Or is he lying? Is there a conspiracy? Is it a coincidence that the plow driver, who was ready and willing to tell police that John O'Keefe's body was not on the front lawn at 2:30, and that he saw a suspicious Ford Edge at 3 a.m. parked next to where John's body would be found 3 hours later, was not interviewed by police at all until I wrote about it? 18 months. They did not bother tracking down this driver who could not wait to tell them his story, who was so friendly that he told me his story, and the FBI, and Paul Mikowski, the PI, all of us. Or is it a conspiracy? I mean, was that a coincidence that they just didn't interview Lucky Loughran? Or was that by design? You tell me. Is it a coincidence that the police had no interest in tracking down the driver of a Ford Edge, even though John O'Keefe was allegedly hit by a car? Because the Ford Edge, it wasn't a Ford Edge. It was a Nissan Pathfinder. It was a fucking Honda CRV, whatever it was. It's a car, isn't it? And you're saying John O'Keefe got hit by a car. So a car was seen next to a body, and you have no interest whatsoever in who was driving that car. Is that right? Is that a coincidence? The police just had no interest in that whatsoever at all. None. Okay. Is it a coincidence that Brian Tully didn't have the CERT team search the scene until 5:45 p.m., even though they were ready to search it long before that? Is that a coincidence that they were sitting there waiting for the green light to begin the search? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that we don't know the identities of any of the CERT team members, including the people who allegedly found 4 pieces of taillight that the Canton Police Department missed? Is that a coincidence that we don't know who any of these people are? None. They found the most critical evidence. Okay. Is it a coincidence that the Canton Library video mysteriously stopped working at the exact moment Karen Reed's taillight would have been seen driving through that intersection? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Brian Higgins destroyed his cell phone and SIM card and discarded them at an Army base the day before a preservation order was issued for his phone? Interesting. Is it a coincidence that Brian Albert also got rid of his phone the day before a preservation order was issued for his phone? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Brian Higgins called Brian Albert at 2:22 a.m. and had a 22-second phone call, despite both of them testifying under oath at the state grand jury that they were sleeping at that time? Is that a coincidence? I mean, that is the biggest coincidence because it involves two long shots. And anyone who knows anything about statistics or probability knows that you have to multiply the odds of one thing happening by the odds of another thing happening in order to figure out what the odds of both of those things happening are. Because that wasn't just one person butt dialing. It was one person butt dialing in his sleep while his phone was on the stand next to him, and the other person butt answering while fucking his wife. Okay. I mean, that's quite the coincidence. Does it prove that they were conspiring to cover up a murder? No. But it's a big fucking coincidence, and it certainly creates a little bit of reasonable doubt, I would say. Is it a coincidence that the aggressive dog with a long history of attacking people did not wake up when first responders were on Brian Albert's front lawn for 30 minutes? That's quite the coincidence. Is it a coincidence that Jennifer McCabe didn't tell the 911 dispatcher that she was outside her sister's house and referred to John O'Keefe simply as a, quote, man in the snow? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor had ordered a tow from Karen Reed's parents' house in Dighton by 2:30 p.m., despite not seeing the car at that point or any evidence of vehicle damage, that he had already ordered the tow? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor drove drunk in a police cruiser with the cop brother of the cop homeowner upon whose lawn a dead cop was found just a month after Karen Reed was indicted for murder? Is that a coincidence? That's quite the coincidence. Interesting. Is it a coincidence that despite the Canton Police Department being conflicted off of the investigation, Kevin Albert got to choose which first responder would be the first to be interviewed by Michael Proctor, and his choice just happened to be a close friend of Caitlin Albert, who was inside the house when John O'Keefe was murdered, and this woman heard Karen Reed say what none of the 5 cops on the scene heard Karen Reed say? Is all of that a coincidence? The first responder to speak with Michael Proctor is Katie McLaughlin, who happens to be the only first responder who is friends with Caitlin Albert or any of the McAlberts, who tells Proctor the only thing he needs to hear to have Karen Reed arrested, that Karen Reed allegedly said, I hit him, and no one else, just her. And the person who set up that interview was Kevin Albert. Is that a coincidence? That's quite the coincidence. Is it a coincidence that Colin Albert was never questioned by police despite being at the party and knowing John O'Keefe personally? Is that a coincidence that he was never interviewed? Was it a coincidence that Caitlin Albert, Brian Albert Jr., Sarah Levinson, and Julie Nagel were not interviewed for at least a year, and some of them longer than that, after the murder of John O'Keefe, even though they were all inside the house when it happened? None of them were interviewed. Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Colin Albert called Erin Beatty, who was not at Brian Albert's house, at 12:33 a.m., despite the fact that people his age almost never call anyone? And the next day, he had no explanation for why he called and called Erin Beatty suddenly at 12:33, a girl he was not in a romantic relationship with, who he was not hanging out with that night socially. He just called her at 12:33. Okay. Is it a coincidence that John O'Keefe didn't have a shoe on, despite ARCCA experts testifying that people hit by sideswipes, like police claim John O'Keefe was, do not get knocked out of their shoes. Is that so? He defied the laws of physics. I mean, that's quite the coincidence. All these horrible coincidences making the McAlberts look like conspirators. Is it a coincidence that Michael Proctor never asked Tom Kelleher, any neighbors, or any of the homes Karen Reed drove by on her way back to One Meadows Ave to look at their ring camera videos to find more evidence of Reed striking O'Keefe with her car? Is that a coincidence? That just none of that Proctor just didn't ask any of these people for ring camera video. Okay. Is it a coincidence that the Alberts claim to have rehomed their family dog of 6 years just month after a dead man with apparent dog bites on his arm was found on their property? Is that a coincidence? Suddenly they decided it's time to get rid of the family dog and send him to an undisclosed location with an undisclosed person in Vermont. Okay. Is it a coincidence that the Alberts sold their 50-year generational family home for $50,000 less than they wanted to sell it for in a seller's market? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that the only calls and Google searches deleted by Jennifer McCabe were deleted around the time that John O'Keefe was murdered and his body discovered? Because nothing else was. Just that time. Just those 18 calls during that time. Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that the two phone calls Jennifer McCabe made to her sister Nicole at 6:07 and 6:08 came up as answered, even though they both insist that it went to voicemail and there are no voicemails from Jennifer McCabe to Nicole? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Higgins decided to go to the Canton Police Department at 2 a.m. after drinking all day and begin doing police work? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Brian Higgins was milling around the Canton Police Department all day on January 29th, hungover, after a long day of drinking, like all that? Is it a coincidence that Chris Albert's lifelong friend, Michael Lank, did not ask to search Brian Albert's house after a dead cop who was invited to the house was found on his front lawn? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that despite being a, quote, decorated Marine and cop, Brian Albert did not come outside his house when a dead cop, dozens of first responders, and a hysterical woman were on his front lawn? I mean, Jesus Christ, how'd this guy do in Fallujah? I mean, a fucking bomb goes off, an IED goes off, or something like that in his unit. He just sleeps right through the whole fucking thing, doesn't he? Oh, he's not like a log after fucking his wife. Whew, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why he's a good soldier, because his wife wasn't there to fuck at 2 a.m. I don't know. Is it just a coincidence that Brian and Nicole Albert originally told Michael Lank that Caitlin Albert left the house before John O'Keefe got there at 12:15, but then changed their story and called Lank a liar after hiring an attorney who prepared them to testify in front of a federal grand jury? Is that a coincidence that they initially said that Caitlin Albert left at the exact time that would make her not a witness that police would want to talk to? Is that a coincidence? And then that they were like, no, Michael Lank messed it up. That's not what we said. Is that all a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that ARCCA experts were available to both sides and that the only side that didn't call the crash reconstruction experts was the side alleging that O'Keefe was killed in a car crash? These are car crash experts. The Commonwealth alleges he was hit by a car. Karen Reed alleges he was beat up inside the house. And the side that wants to talk to the car crash experts is the side saying he was beaten up, and the side that says he was killed in a car crash doesn't want to talk to the car crash experts? Okay. Is it a coincidence that Allie McCabe's Life 360 data shows she was driving around until 1:30 a.m. despite testifying that she was home in bed by 12:30? Is it just a coincidence that Julie Nagel, Sarah Levinson, Matt McCabe, Jen McCabe, Brian Higgins, Lucky Loughran, Tristan Morris, and Caitlin Albert all did not see John O'Keefe's 220-pound body lying 10 feet from the curb, illuminated by an inch of snow, despite driving right past him? Is that a coincidence? All those motherfuckers, not just one, every single one of them did not see that body. Every single one. It had been out there allegedly for an hour. John's body had been there for an hour, and not one of them saw it, despite driving right past it. Wow. Is it a coincidence that Jen McCabe butt dialed John O'Keefe 6 times in 10 minutes, and not a single one of those calls went to voicemail for John O'Keefe? She has all these butt dials to him, but he did not get a single voicemail, meaning that she butt dialed him and then disconnected immediately, and then butt dialed again 5 more times. Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that John O'Keefe's phone shows him going up and down 3 flights of stairs? Is that a coincidence? How did the fuck did that happen? Is it a coincidence that Jen McCabe's Apple Health data shows that she never went to sleep that night? Is that a coincidence? You know, and I'll tell you one thing, like I went to let's see. Yeah. I climbed Mount Wachusett on November 2nd. Okay. And I went back and looked at my Apple Health data that day. And it says, like, on a normal day, I climb like a couple flights of stairs, 5 or 6, I don't know, whatever. On that day, I climbed 69 flights of stairs. This is my, you guys see, it's like blurry. All right. Oh, see the bar there? That's the Mount Wachusett day. All right. That's what my Apple Health data shows, because it's a fucking mountain. And when you're climbing a mountain, you're literally walking up rocks and shit. And so that represents 69 flights of stairs. That's what it says that I walked up and down. All right. This thing is accurate as fuck. It knows when you're in a car. Okay. Now I should I'm going to try driving up Mount Wachusett. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go from I can't do it because it's ski season. So the roads are fucking blocked. But like, I wonder, it's like, if I drive, will it show me going up 69 flights of stairs? I don't know. But anyway, is it a coincidence that Trooper Proctor said in his report that he towed Karen Reed's car at 5:30, the exact time that Brian Telly arrived to oversee the CERT team search? Is that a coincidence? And he didn't. That turned out to be a lie. It was 4:15. But is it a coincidence that he said 5:30? Thank you, Joe Flipperhead, for that one. Is it a coincidence that investigators never took a picture of Karen Reed's car at her parents' house in Dighton? Is that a coincidence? Why didn't they do that? Is it a coincidence that Julie Albert offered Michael Proctor a gift on the day after Karen Reed was arrested, after Proctor never questioned her son Colin, who was at the house that night? Is that a coincidence that the mother of a kid, a man who was not arrested, who was not questioned, I apologize, who was not questioned by police, that the mother of that person, that witness who was at the house that night was not questioned, that person's mother offered a gift to the lead investigator on the day that someone else was arrested for what her son might have ordinarily been considered a suspect in? Right. Is it a coincidence that investigators never took a picture of Karen Reed's car? Oh, no, I already read that one. Is it a coincidence that not a single police report or police dash cam video shows Karen Reed saying anything even close to "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him"? Nothing. Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the Commonwealth can't produce the member of the CERT team who found Karen Reed's taillight because they have no idea who that person even is? That person can't testify because we don't know who they are. Is it a coincidence that these same police routinely tape off murder crime scenes and knock on doors asking for Ring camera videos when they're trying to solve a murder, but they didn't do any of that for a murdered Boston police officer? Is that a coincidence that they do this all the time? For Michael Proctor did it in June of 2023 at a shooting in Braintree. They had the guy was killed in the car outside. Same shit. They searched the house, taped off the whole fucking neighborhood, didn't let anyone drive down it. They did all. Is that a coincidence? None of this happened for John. Okay. Or was it by design? Is it just a coincidence that Matt McCabe was keeping an eye on the investigators at the crime scene and had to instruct Chris Albert to tell the media that, quote, the guy never went in the house? Is that a coincidence that Matt McCabe was suddenly doing that? Is it just a coincidence that despite bleeding out on the lawn, the only blood investigators found could be held in red Solo cups? The guy bled out he just gigantic gash in the back of the head. Must have fucking lost a shitload of blood. It could all just be held in little tiny Solo cups. Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that John wasn't dead from hypothermia when they found him, despite allegedly being in 18-degree weather for 5.5 hours? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that nobody saw or heard Karen Reed strike John O'Keefe with her car, despite the fact that 2 witnesses, Jennifer and Matt McCabe, testified that they were constantly looking out the windows, waiting for John to arrive? Didn't see or hear a thing. Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that inverted video was presented at trial and that the inverted video happened to give jurors the impression that Michael Proctor was hovering around the taillight that wasn't broken? Is that a coincidence that the inverted video made jurors think that Proctor was around the other taillight? If Proctor had been around the other taillight, would the video have been inverted to make jurors think that he was around the broken taillight? Is that a coincidence that the effect of the inverted video was to make it look like Proctor was around the unbroken taillight? Is that a coincidence? That's quite the coincidence. Was it just a coincidence that the 3 jurors removed on the final day of deliberations have all since made it clear that they would have voted not guilty, and that these 3 jurors all made facial gestures during the trial in front of police and the McAlberts, indicating that they planned on voting not guilty? Is it a coincidence that those are the 3 jurors? 1 in 451. We've done the odds that it would be those 3 jurors taken out. That's quite the coincidence. Is it just a coincidence that Beverly Cannoni picked the foreman who refused to let other jurors ask the judge if they were allowed to acquit on 2 of the 3 charges, but hang on the 3rd? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that arm tissue samplings from John O'Keefe disappeared? They're gone. Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that the swab from John O'Keefe's shirt that was sent to a lab in California that did not find any dog DNA on it was swabbed and processed by Michael Proctor? Is that a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that it took 18 months for the Commonwealth to find microscopic pieces of taillights in John O'Keefe's clothing? Is that a coincidence? It took 18 months to find that. Oh, yeah, look at this. Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that two doctors testified that John O'Keefe's arm looked like it was bitten by a dog? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that no one from the Boston Police Department attended any of Karen Reed's trial? Is that a coincidence? Because that never happens. Cop killing cases? No, that never happens. Is it just a coincidence that the witnesses were interviewed at Jennifer McCabe's house 5 hours after the body was discovered, after being together the entire time prior to that? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that the FBI spent all this time and money investigating and convening a grand jury if they thought that Karen Reed was guilty? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that Brian Higgins told the federal grand jury that he saw someone matching John O'Keefe's description enter Brian Albert's house? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that no blood was found on any of the 45 pieces of taillight, despite the fact that the Commonwealth asserts that the taillight itself was responsible for causing all of the cuts on John O'Keefe's arm? Is that a coincidence? Imagine finding a knife used to kill somebody and the knife has no blood on it. That's the equivalent with the taillight. The taillight was the knife. The taillight was the sharp object, they claim, sliced up John's arm. And not one of those pieces of taillight had any blood on it whatsoever. None of it. Coincidence. Is it just a coincidence that there was no bruising on John O'Keefe's arm, despite allegedly being hit by a vehicle going 24 miles an hour? Is that a coincidence? Let a 6,000-pound object hit your arm. Let me know if you have a bruise after that. Was it just a coincidence that the biggest piece of taillight was found on February 18th? Is that a coincidence? Is it just a coincidence that police never closed off the crime scene, despite finding more taillight in the coming days after January 29th? That they just never just shut it down, like, hold on, we got to stop and search this whole thing? No, is that a coincidence that happened like that? Or was that by design? Was it just a coincidence that Ken Berkowitz found, who's dead now, and unless he confessed, is rotting in hell? Okay. Is it just a coincidence that Ken Berkowitz saw a small piece of taillight from a moving vehicle outside of the home of a man who he called a, quote, pillar of the community, when asking a reporter to take down a tweet identifying the fact that John O'Keefe's dead body was found on this police officer's front lawn? Is that just a coincidence? I don't know. So that is all I got. I'm sure there is many more. What did I miss? I mean, there's so many other things that I could say. Is this a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? So you don't have to prove outright that, like, none of those things is like, oh yeah, we got him. We got a text message of them admitting that they all did it. Like, we don't have that, but we have a whole bunch of things that either are a coincidence or evidence of a conspiracy. And that should be up to the jury to decide. And I loved that. I kind of liked that presentation at the end there because I love Alan Jackson and I loved his clothing, clothing too, but also closing. I love this closing. And, but it was just, he had this one rant where he was just going down and listing a lot of the things. And it just was too much. It was one thing after another. I like the effective format of with the PowerPoint of, is it a coincidence? You know, is it a coincidence? I love that. So, all right, cool. All right, let's see. All right. Sorry, I'm reading these comments. Anyway, if you guys can think of any, is it a coincidence? I'd like to do an article on this about, is it a coincidence, and kind of put it up there about all these coincidences that allegedly happened to these McAlberts that, no, just isn't it the worst? It made us think that they were involved in conspiring to murder John O'Keefe and cover it up after the fact. It's really unfortunate that all of these coincidences happened to these poor, innocent people. But, you know, fuck it, man. If we have to go to trial again, we're going to do it. Karen Reed's never getting convicted. It is a goddamn miracle that they didn't acquit her the first time. They did on 2 of the 3, but not on all 3. So she'll never go to jail. She'll never be convicted of any crimes. I'm never going to jail. I'll never be convicted of any of these crimes. Anything. I've been down some bumpy roads, and so is Karen. But at the end of this, we are all going to be free. And it's really just like 6 months away for Karen. Like, we are getting, the trial was supposed to be in like 4 weeks, but that has been moved to April. I think April 1st as of now. And we'll see. I don't give a fuck. This chip off, whatever, chip off, blip off, whatever. None of that matters. They're not going to find anything on the chip off that makes Karen Reed look guilty. I mean, if they even try to come up with any shenanigans with this, there's gonna be a lot of questions. Like, where was this the first trial? And who were you, man, Shannon? Like, what? Like, how did you not? Did you not know how to work the machine the first time? Suddenly you found it. There will be nothing in there that says that Karen Reed was ran John over at 12:32. It's not going to be there. So there's nothing to worry about. They'll try some shenanigans, I'm sure. Right? They're not doing this because they're seeking truth. They're seeking a conviction. But okay. Let me read some turtle chats here. All right. So we got here Haitian food at its finest sends $8 and goes, did Jen McCabe delete the calls, Google searches before turning her phone in? Yes. Also said she saw tire tracks from Karen Reed's SUV, but did she see John O'Keefe also if he got hit? That's another thing I include. That is it a coincidence that Matt McCabe could see tire marks in the snow, but didn't see a dead body, which would have been directly in front of his line of vision? That's a good question. Thank you, Haitian food at its finest. Deanna Fazio sends $10 and goes, is it a coincidence that Proctor reported the wrong time he picked up the Lexus and blamed daylight savings, even though it was 43 days before daylight savings? Yeah, is that a coincidence? You know, is it? Oh, another one. Is it a coincidence that he misspelled the names of 5 witnesses wrong in one of his reports in one paragraph? 5 of them. $25 from Karen and says, just because you said my favorite Turtleboy phrase, oh, for fuck's sake, keep up the great work. Cheers to the new year. Well, thank you very much for that one, Karen. I appreciate that greatly. Thank you. And this year I didn't get to ring in the new year. I was sleeping during the new year last year because I'm in jail. You don't get to celebrate New Year's in jail. I mean, you could stay up till 12, I suppose. You don't get to see the ball drop or anything like that, but like, it is 12. It is a new year. So there's that. There's no one to celebrate it with, but good night, you know. Laura sends $10 and goes, Aidan, we are watching you become a true crime junkie before our eyes. I fucking love it. Well, thank you very much, Laura. And I'm proud that I can transform directly in front of you. All right. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Do we have any more? What do I got here? Cash apps. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Anyone have any questions or anything? I got a whole bunch of year in review stuff that we can share at another time. That we can maybe do. Maybe we can do it at on the next show. We'll probably do the show Monday. That's what I'm probably going to do, is a show Monday, probably. So maybe we can do that. Do some of these, you know, fun stuff to kind of review the year. The decorated dude line. Yeah, I think I'm done with the decorated dude hotline. It's not working out. It's just, this wasn't meant to be a call-in show. Like, I think people message me about this, and they're right. I'm agreed. It's better when people just do turtle chats, and then I can just read them and just riff on them myself. A lot. I mean, I can't. There was some of these callers. I love you guys, but I can't do any more calls with like, did you remember this one time during the testimony they said this? Nope, don't. But I'll have to take your word for it. Or do you remember that? I can't. Oh, some of them I can't do it. Yeah, I didn't like it. It was just bad. So I think we're done with the call-ins. You know, I think we're done with the call-ins. But it was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. It was something to do. There's something to do. Yeah, well, JFK can be. I mean, the call-ins are good on his show. Let him do it. You know, actually, the Galera does call-ins, obviously, and so does Young Jerks. So, yeah, Collins would be good if it was from the other side. They would be better. You know. Like telling me, fuck you, when I said go Sixers. If so, I like that. Yeah. Oh, the fucking Sixers. Whatever. One game. We'll be fine. Sixers are going nowhere. Stop it. You guys are like a million years old. It's the oldest team I've ever seen. Everyone's injured. Kyle Lowry's fat. Stop it. Okay. And people are like, you're rude for the Collins. I should be. Like, if I wasn't rude to the callers, like if I had just let them rant and just go on, you guys would be, other people would be upset about me. Like, dude, you got to cut this guy off. Like, sometimes you got to be the bad guy, you know, you got to be daddy. You got to come down hard on and be like, no, this is not your show. It's my show. People aren't here to, you know, hear you rant about whatever. They're here for the doctor, you know. But, oh, yeah, Gianetti did message me. He messaged me on Facebook. Let's see, the other day. Let's see what it says. He just said, yo, bitch, yo. Yo, bitch, yo. That's all he said. And I can't even click on his. What the fuck? Okay, let's actually go to Gianetti's page. Actually, let's go see what he's up to. Mike Gianetti was live. Okay. Oh no, this is the transgender. This is the kid I want to make the transgender baby. Who's this poor fucking kid? I feel so bad for that kid. What else do we have here? The king is back. Okay. And then he highlights all his other Facebook profiles that he claims I stole from him.
Gianetti logo, baptize your chick with the holy nut though. Me and Dino with a little fettuccine Alfredo. Bitches want my sauce so they can get prego. What? Everywhere I go, I smell like a kilo. Police dogs bark, Cujo. Your man a homo, get hit with the fofo. Tommy Two Guns.
Dash Records.
Dash Records, check it. Had your bitch last night butt naked.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Italiano, fettuccine Alfredo. Just want my sauce so she can get prego.
Okay. Seeing how Turtleboy wants me to go on a show so bad, now this song highlight about Mike Gianetti, and then he tags his 5 million Facebook accounts that he claims I stole from him.
My name is on the infamy. Boston's Crown Prince. 5-0 now because I leave no evidence. No fingerprints on the scene. What? 5-0 tried to kill a king, but I made a way clean. Bitch made Turtleboy killer. Who's next on the track that I smashed?
Okay. What else do we have here? So he's still he's making reels of me. What's this one? This is on my birthday. I'm your very serious podcasting host, Timothy Kearney. I'm a really deep thinker. I take myself very seriously. I plan on writing all sorts of books with my best friend, Matt, who's also my lawyer and my manager. And we are going to take true crime to the next level. It's a really serious business, guys. No joking around. Victims matter. That's what I'm here for. We're here to get to the bottom of this, guys. We're here to solve the mystery. So he just shared my thing. That's it. He had no, okay. Like he said, I had 2 social security numbers. What's he say? I had 2 social security numbers. And like I said, he had an alias. I posted when I paid for it, but I signed. I wouldn't notify people. He got it taken down. That's why I have not been able to find it. But now I found it. Look, Turtleboy Aidan Timothy Kearney is Dean Kearney, and it's the same town. That's why he can't have a Facebook in his name, because he's registered. Look it up. Why wouldn't he have his name on Facebook? Because he can't buy the law. Okay. I miss Gianetti so bad in his antics. So here he is.
Sniper on the roof, sniper on the roof. You ain't bulletproof, you a bitch. Kidnap your wife, waterboard that slut, make her tell the truth. Send a hit, Babe Ruth. Beat the case, break a roof. Ruthless, easy, or they.
Does anybody have the Gianetti highlight clip video about Sniper on the commercial for his rap album? Oh, what? It's been so long. What was the channel that made all the Gianetti stuff? You guys know which one I'm talking about. About like, oh, I gotta find that one. Can somebody send that to me if they have it? You sent me his voicemail. Okay, cool. But I want to find that YouTube video of him if anyone can send it. If you're new here, who's this man? This is Gianetti. This is the kind of shit I used to he's the funniest person I've ever written about. And I've written about him many times. And then he suddenly appeared in person when I was arraigned outside of court on December 22nd. And as it turned out, the fake victim had connected with him and was having him come to my court dates to kind of blow them up, if you will. Clean urine stash. Yeah, I got to find the clean urine stash. YouTube. Let's see. Clean urine stash. Let's see. No, I can't find that. You know what's weird is like when you search on YouTube, like you can't just search for channels. Like I search for that and I get all these goddamn videos. Let's see. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay. I found the Gianetti promo video. You gotta watch this. And normally I don't like giving Ratchet's attention, but he's so funny. Like it's like the funniest shit. Oh, here we go.
You a hard time about never growing up? Are you suffering from arrested development and long for the early years? Well, here's the album for you. Trapping with Mike, the greatest hits. Featuring such hits as Sniper on the Roof, the living room version.
Snipers on the roof. Snipers on the roof. Shoot Aidan Kearney. He ain't bullet.
Sniper on the roof,
the
cat
roof,
version.
sniper on-
And Candy's
Slept
rape
with me in the
dogs.
shower, then before in the bed, she looked at my penis. I wanted to get high on crack. I tried to put it in. She was nodding out. I didn't even get it in. Pulled it out. Where you going? Starts banging her head off the head. Off the thing.
That was a fun one. Calm out. Those timeless hits like The Feds Watching.
Fresh with them feds watching. I'll be looking fresh with them feds watching. I'll be looking fresh with them feds watching. Do whip, yeah.
Go back in time. Go back in time with
Toto.
this
In a 5-foot radius of me, I'm untouchable, unbreakable like Willis. Leave you broken and hopeless like last man Samuel Jackson. I'm smashing your chick, then I'm dashing.
Get a little crazy in the back seat with your anti-Semitism.
Why is he in the back seat?
And ask me why I'm still here. Get ready for a scene, not what you speak. I was always the king of HP. Ain't no rat, that's the red Gianetti. You see the record? Ha ha!
The number one hit. Keep an eye on your kids. I don't fuck kids, by the way.
Amber alert. He's on the alert. Go arrest baby Mello. You hacked on my phone and took pictures of my dick? Oh, really?
That's
Oh, now we'll throw in the bathroom version. Sniper on the roof. And of course, Sniper on the roof. Kitchen version.
Everybody kidnap my son and make him a transgender baby. Are you crazy?
European dance sensation. See my dick. For our Latino friends, no habla no English.
You broke niggas. I don't habla no English. I don't listen to you trolls.
Your friends, they're starting families, they're getting jobs. Well, why don't you call now? See, sitting on your couch doing nothing. Order the video. And for one last, and if you call now, we'll throw in this one hit. Oh, fuck.
Come on, grab a pen and then call it pen and mess it on. You feel a lot of weirdos on there.
It's already past. Oh. This is where he passes out. The one where he had the knife in the
I'm not
back
high,
seat.
by the way. I'm tired. I was just tired. Haha, that was a fun one. Well, call now, everybody.
Oh, Gianetti. Oh, he's the best. Was there any other Gianetti ones in here? Whatever happened to this channel? Channel was the best. Clean urine stash. But I can't find it. It doesn't have much content on it anymore. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, when I had the call-ins with him, I gotta go. For those of you who don't know him, I gotta go back, and we just need more Gianetti on here because he's the best. What's this one?
Asian party, you can't stop me like the gorilla Congo. Full court pressure rondo, hit you with the extendo grip, look through your torso. I ain't playing with you no more, so give me back my crown. I hold this city down now. Firearm on my right arm, Megatron.
Okay. What's he got going on here? What's this?
The sleeping giant. Reap what you sow, every change your.
Okay. What's this one? Turtleboy as a girl? What's this? What's this? What the fuck? That's Turtleboy. Okay. I guess he's saying I'm a girl. I'm a girl, he's saying, or something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, this is the poor kid. The transgender baby. Yeah, I don't even want to watch that. Somehow this kid hasn't lost. Somehow Gianetti has not lost his kids to DCF. Somehow. He's literally high like all the time. Bitch made Romolo killer. Full video later. Okay. So he just makes raps dedicated to me all the time. Still, years later. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus. I can't even look at that. He's got, what's Mike GSD? Oh, the same shit. All right. The same exact shit. What else does he have here? Dominic Gianetti. I mean, he has so many Facebook profiles. What are all these? It's about me. Okay. All right. What's this? All right. Oh no. Oh no. Get that kid out of there. That's just horrible. Okay, cool. I think I got a couple messages from people here. Shorts. This is let's see this one. This is when I had Gianetti on my show.
Yeah. All you do, he wants to be a wannabe journalist, but he got no sources.
Got no sauce.
Oh, so you know what I found out about you,
Sober
Gianetti?
for-
He doesn't know that he's muted right now. He says he can't hear us, but I think he's lying about that. So I just want to point out right now that this girl right here, Brett, that's his baby mama when she was underage. He met, you know how he met his baby mama, Brett? He was banging his baby's mama's mama. I swear to God, let's check her out, shall we? I got a picture of her too. Let's do that. Let me bring that.
Oh, this
up.
is when we got mooned.
Yeah, okay.
He mooned us.
Yeah.
Watch
Okay.
this.
So how did you
Head junkie.
Oh, great. Oh, that's inappropriate. Okay. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. We're gonna get demonetized for that. That's not good. We just got mooned.
Yeah, he mooned us. The one time I had Gianetti on the show, he pulled his pants down and mooned us. So that wasn't nice. Okay, what? Oh, we got a couple of voice messages. From Ma Edwards here. I'm gonna play. So apparently he left a couple of voicemails with Ma here. Let me just make sure nothing too crazy is on there. All right, let me pull this up so I can play this. Okay, let me play this.
Oh, all of a sudden, the cop lies and say I tried to run him down, and Turtleboy doesn't report on it. Been trying to get me for years, but stops and doesn't report on it. Yes, I was going back and forth with him, and he was giving police my location. They knew I was driving with no license in different cars, and allegedly, I believe that he said, if you got your shot to take it, and we'll pay you. And he took it.
What?
Over the news for the weekend, I try to run down cops. Turtleboy don't report it. And then finally, when I do sit down with them, they give me my car out of tow with no police report. They don't arrest me. They don't do nothing. He has a friend that has brothers that are Boston cops. Do you want to make money or break this story and tell me who that girl is or not?
I have no idea. So these are the kind of messages that he just randomly leaves. But all right, cool. Yeah, 1-800-COPS. Oh, if you're new to the remember when Gianetti got in a car crash live streaming while looking for me? I told him I was in Boston. I was fucking around with him. I'm like, yo, I'm in. I said I was at Kelleher's bar that I used to go to over in, I don't know if it's West Roxbury or Roslindale, but I'd be like, oh, I'm at Kelleher's. You know, and so he went driving around looking for me, and he live streamed himself. He's like, yo, is that right here? You drive a Tesla? And then he just does an abrupt, he goes, oh, I think I just saw him. And he does a quick turn, and he fucking crashes right on his live stream. And he just goes, I'm out. I'm out. And he drove away. And then there was the other live stream where they were going through the McDonald's drive-through, and he was recording his baby mama. So his girlfriend that he impregnated was the daughter of his ex-girlfriend, who left him for Joe Amoroso, the biological father of Bella Bond, who tried to cash in on that one and turned out to be a complete junkie scumbag as well. So he got dumped for Joe Amoroso and then started fucking the daughter, who he was grooming since she was like 14. And then they had a kid together, and then they were going through the line at McDonald's, and she was like so mad about something he was doing. I don't fucking know. And he was just sitting there taking it, and he just accused her of stealing his back to school money and his school backpack or something. It was fucking hilarious. Like some of the funniest shit ever. comes from the Gianetti content. Like, it's just so great. We could do a whole Gianetti show sometime, but okay. So yeah. All right. Do we miss anything else? I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, she wanted a Happy Meal. All right. Just check the turtle chats here. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. Yeah, we got Kristen sends $10 and goes, do you know why the defense didn't call Scott Klein as a witness? He was from ARCCA and an expert with vehicle data. In your juror interview, you indicated this was a big discussion point with jury. That's a great point. Yeah, Scott Klein was just another one that they could have brought. I believe there's 5 doctors that were in on it. And yeah, you know what? And a big weakness, or not a weakness, but with the Commonwealth used to say to discredit the ARCCA people was that you didn't ask them about like they didn't give them all the evidence. They didn't give them the fact that DNA was found on the taillight, or that she said, I hit him at the scene, or anything like that. Because none of that's relevant towards biomechanics and crash reconstruction. Right. But this time, and one of the things that the juror said was like, we would have liked to hear about their thoughts on the tech stream data. And so I think this time around, if I was the defense, what I would do is I would, make sure those questions are answered. Make sure that they know about this ahead of time, because we all know that it's not going to affect them at all. Like they're going to be like, cool story. So did you know there was DNA found on the taillight? Sure. Okay. Doesn't change the fact that it's physically impossible John was hit by a car. So I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know how the DNA got on the tail. I don't know. But all I know is that guy wasn't hit by a car. So and it's just going to be one less thing for them to say, to bring up. So thank you very much. That's a good point. Kelly sends $5, says, coincidence, first she hit him at 12:45. But Gemma Cabe texts John at 12:30 saying to park behind her while looking out the storm door. But that has now become the time within seconds of Karen hit him. She would have seen it happen. That's a good point. That's a good point, Kelly. Thank you very much. Lissy sends $8 and says, Aidan, your language shocks me sometimes, but you are a legend. So courageous. Love from Australia. Well, thank you very much. And sorry to shock you, but has been known to happen from time to time. So I appreciate it. And love for my Aussies down there. I appreciate that. Okay. Oh, by the way, the next great sprinter, the next person that they think can break Usain Bolt's Olympic records in the 100 and 200 meters is from Australia, actually. His name is Gout. I swear to God, Gout. He's an Australian, black Australian guy. Never seen that before. So apparently he's like the next big thing. So check that out. And how bad are the Patriots, by the way? Oh my God. What was that? I mean, if anything, at least now it's like Cameo has to go, right? Like we cannot bring this guy back for year 2. It's not going to get better next year under this clown. Like this, it is not going to get better with Gerard Mayo. That will not be happening. That is a joke. What happened out on that field today? An absolute disgrace. And it cannot go on for another year. You can't even say that they were intentionally trying to lose. Like that was our best shot. That was the best that we could put up at home against a 9-6 team that's going nowhere. Like nobody in their right mind thinks San Diego's like doing shit in the playoffs. Like nobody's like, oh, Super Bowl contender Chargers. Nobody's there. The Chargers are a nice little story this year. Like, oh, cool. Jim Harbaugh back, got them back in the playoffs. Good for him. There isn't a single person out there that thinks that the Chargers are going to go into Baltimore or go into freaking Buffalo or Kansas City and win a playoff game. That's never going to happen. They're not going to go into Houston and win a playoff game. That will never happen. So, we suck. And but Drake May's great. I love watching Drake May. Christian Gonzalez got hurt today. I mean, that's the only other guy worth watching. But like Keon White had some comments that were about the coaching staff afterwards. I mean, they suck. But by the way, who's playing tonight in the NFL? I saw the Bungles one earlier, so that's good in overtime. But also, who's got the night game? Oh, the Rams. The Rams beat the Cardinals. Okay, so that's good. So they're going to win. I think they must have clinched that division. Then the Rams did. The Rams are back in business. They're never bad. They're never bad. Okay. What else? Where is it in the comments here? I'm trying to find my thing. Yeah. You know what? I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl, but it's going to be like, it can't be the Chiefs, dude. I can't do it again. I can't watch this. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's got to be fake. They got killed by Tom Brady 43-8 or whatever the fuck that was in the Super Bowl. That didn't, stuff like that didn't happen to Tom Brady. He'll never be Tom Brady ever. But Josh Allen needs to win. Josh Allen's got to do something. Like, you can't just be like, he's never made a Super Bowl. I mean, he's getting old. He's like, what, 28? You've been around for a bit, Josh Allen. Time to get to a Super Bowl. Like, enough of this shit. If you're really that good. Same with Lamar Jackson. Like, you're gonna get Joe Flacco got to a Super Bowl. You can't get to a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer got to one. You can't do that. Like, you're that great. But yeah, the Lions kicking ass, obviously. I mean, the Lions, if the Lions don't get to the Super Bowl this year, they are truly cursed. Because they are the new greatest show on turf. They are so exciting to watch. Fast, explosive, all that shit. They've had a million injuries. They still kick ass. They got that big game next week against the Vikings. If the Vikings win tomorrow, it will be for the number 1 overall seed. Big difference between the 1 seed and the 5 seed. Because if you win, then you got to go play at the 1 seed the next week. So I'm going for the Lions. I'm a Lions fan now. The Eagles are, that loss last week didn't do them any. I mean, the Eagles are not going to go into Detroit and win. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to go into Detroit and beat them. Nobody. Or else they're fucking cursed. So, anyway, I think it better be a Lions-Bills Super Bowl because that's just so awesome because someone has to win that. That's the beauty of that game is someone has to win. And that's great because if it's like Lions-Chiefs, it's like, I know how that one ends. It doesn't like it. I know how that ends. Like, unfortunately, so is what it is. Yeah, I am a Lions fan because I have so many Michiganders now that are Turtle Riders. I'm also Bills Mafia. I've never had anything against the Bills. People think that I do because I basically left teaching over the Bills incident in 2014, and that the Bills fans doxed me and put out my real identity out there and led to me leaving teaching, whatever. But I got nothing but love for Bills Mafia. I've always loved them. I respect Bills Mafia, their craziness and their lack of a filter and just letting us have it. And the fact that they kept going to games over and over again, despite the fact, like I went to Buffalo every year. We would go there to just watch the Bills get cream pied by Tom Brady. And every game was a sellout. And the Bills fans, despite sucking they would still go to all these games. And it's fucking cold in Buffalo. So I have nothing but respect for that franchise. And I don't respect a lot of these franchises or the stupid fan bases, but I respect the Bills. I will be very happy if the Bills win a Super Bowl. I'll be very happy if the Lions win a Super Bowl. So I hope one of those teams win the Super Bowl this year. I really do. And that's great. It's like the Patriots suck, so you can afford to root for other teams. So works out well, but don't get too comfortable. Once we're back, I'm not going to like any of you people. But when we suck, it's okay. All right. Anybody else got anything to say? Yeah, the Niners. Like, what the fuck happened to them? They were in the Super Bowl last year. They suck. All right. Anyway, guys, I am going to call it a night, but I love all you fine people, and we'll see you guys for the next episode of Turtleboy Live on, I think we're going to do it Monday. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.